don't think. There's the article, by the way.
Oh,
if you go to
nice, Brent.
actionnewsjacks.com. Time for the Jaguars to be like the Detroit Lions, not the one on the.
You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
There's the man who's, well, he has some thinking to do at least. Does Shad Khan make a decision today? Should it have happened by now? What are we waiting on? I'm going to stay tuned to my cell phone on Twitter. Maybe some changes come down the pipe, or maybe it's more of the same. But this guy right here is going to have a lot of things to think about these next couple weeks going into the offseason. Welcome to the Brent Austen Show. I'm Austen Lane. Brent Martineau will be joining us hopefully momentarily. I'm not sure, since he released his big article, if people have got to him now, Hamby. I'm not sure if he is trying to be hushed. I guess we'll find out if he walks through the door. But we have Hamby pushing all the right buttons, hanging out in the kids' corner. Hamby, are you a little surprised that, well, we haven't really heard anything yet in terms of any changes being made?
I don't think so, honestly.
You aren't surprised?
Well, ever since Doug talked,
yep,
it didn't seem like it was going to happen, because I didn't think you were going to have him talk and then, have him go right back up there or whatever a little bit later or later in the day or hours later just to fire him. I think they would have, if they knew something was going to happen, then they wouldn't have let him out there. And, so since they did, I thought it was, Shad's kind of sticking to his plan, sticking to his thing, his MO, and we'll see at the end of the year.
More disappointing to watch, the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight or the Brent Martineau, Doug Pederson grudge match yesterday at the press conference?
I'll definitely go with... Oh, gosh.
I'm kidding. I thought, listen, I thought Brent did a great job, kind of the whole message of the fan, because this has been the story, I feel like, all year. And I get Brent gets kind of put in the media a little bit sometimes, like in the national coverage, because, well, he asks the questions that Doug seems to kind of get snippy at a little bit and feel a certain type of way about, where he gives you the sound bites that you'll see all over Barstool and ESPN. But Brent's kept his same demeanor the entire season. When he asks the questions, he's trying to help Doug Pederson out. Like, he's trying to, get Doug to maybe explain a play what happened, so we don't think, okay, well, he doesn't know what he's doing in terms of play calling or coaching. He's trying to get Doug Pederson, we saw yesterday, to kind of address, the fan base a little bit of, what exactly is going on. Can we have a little bit of a word? And, should we wait till Brent gets here to kind of put all that audio, Hamby, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait. I will say this, though. My biggest takeaway from yesterday, did you really learn anything new, Hamby? Like, did you kind of walk away from it saying, like, oh, okay, like, this is different? Because what I heard was, okay, that's not who we were in Detroit. Well, you may not be that bad, but you've won 2 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you're in the ballpark of kind of being that bad. And you've lost to teams that you probably shouldn't have beat. Dolphins, Browns. We can go through the whole list. So I get maybe you aren't as bad as giving up a giant 50 burger and only scoring 6 points, but you're in that vein. You're in that vein until we see something else. Now you got Houston. Obviously you have the bye week. Use it. Enhancers, do whatever you want to do, but, like, get some rest, because this team seems down. They seem exhausted. They seem like they need a break. And I think Jaguars fans probably need a little bit of a break as well. Unfortunately, we got, 6 games left? 7? I honestly stopped counting, Hamby. We got 7 games left, 6 games left.
6 games left.
6 games left, man. It seems like an eternity. So you have some games left to try to make things right. But once again, I saw Houston last night. Pretty solid defense. Joe Mixon going off. Like, do you think, and listen, if you would have asked me to start the season off, this Houston game, coming to Jacksonville, I would have told you, man, this might be one of the biggest games of the season.
Absolutely.
Right? Because this could be right here, the battle for the division. Right? Because you got Houston, and then you kind of got some cupcakes and, well, Tennessee twice, even though Tennessee sometimes has your number. Well, I'm not going to say sometimes. They have your number, it seems like, at least once a year. You got New York, who's obviously sputtering right now. Get Aaron Rodgers out of there, everyone's saying. You got the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think we all thought that's who they were going to be when the season started. So you have the opposite of a murderer's row right now. What would you call the opposite of a murderer's row? Like a sunshine and rainbows row? Like a Mr. Rogers row? We're going to call it the Mr. Rogers row.
Mr. Rogers, or something with a cafe. For whatever reason, I want to go.
Cafe? What are you talking about?
Mind. You know, the opposite of murderer's row is.
I mean, I think of murder. I think of, like, you know, gruesome. I think of, like, these guys are tough. And you're thinking of a cafe.
Yeah, you said the opposite.
The opposite of tough isn't going to a Starbucks.
Yeah. It's...
Okay, Hamby. Well, yeah, I'm going to cut you off in a second. Already started to tick me off. Like, listen, they have the easy part of the schedule, but I'm nervous about Houston coming to town. I'm very nervous. And yeah, maybe you have the bye week to prepare.
You're not nervous.
I'm not nervous about Houston Texans coming to town.
No, because at this point,
Hamby,
nervous is if we're in contention.
So you just kind of accepted it. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? That's a good point.
You're nervous if the season's on the line, or if we're 2 games back and we really need this one, or at this point you're not nervous.
I just don't want to see a CJ Stroud like signature game.
Yeah.
Which we probably will see.
Really I don't want to one so far this year.
He really hasn't, Hamby. So guess what? He's due.
Yeah, honestly.
You know what I'm saying? He's due. Hey, fantasy managers, go ahead and throw the barn at CJ Stroud. Try to get him, because we've seen this story how many times this year. We saw it with when Joe Flacco rushed for 30 yards on this team, which is unheard of. But no, I mean, and listen, we'll let Brent come in here and he can break it down, everything that he felt. I don't know, man. I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised that a change hasn't been made yet. I think if you're going to make a change, the sooner the better. It has to happen in the bye week. Why you would just let it go the bye week and then, Houston week, now let's make a change? I don't understand what's going on. I really don't. Because if you think that you're going to trot out the exact same coaches, the exact same setup that you've had this entire season and expect anything differently, like at this point, honestly, if we keep doing the same thing, then congratulations. I guess we're going to tank for Travis Hunter, or we're going to try to trade out and try to get Travis Hunter. Like, is he that big of a commodity, Hamby? Am I missing something?
I don't think so.
Like, is Travis Hunter going to come in and just make the biggest difference in the world for a team, especially here in Jacksonville? I don't think so. So then what are you doing? What's the point? It's not like we have a generational quarterback to go after, like a Trevor Lawrence. We have him already. We paid him. So, the number 1 overall pick does nothing for me. If you want to trade out of it, cool. But I'm not looking for that right now. So then why are we not making a change? What's up, Brent? Welcome back, man.
Hey, what's happening?
Oh.
Well, I tell you what. Got some entrance music?
I guess so.
Can I get the Chicago Bulls music or something?
What is this?
I mean, what the hell
is this? Jimmy Buffett?
Trying
to get some relaxing.
I was going to say, did you see the guy with your bike tire?
No.
This morning?
No. Is he out there?
No, but I'm just saying, you sounded a little riled up when I walked in.
That's why I'm playing this.
Oh. No, it's because people aren't making, hey.
Nobody's making sense?
It's just more of the same, Brent,
What we got? What
nothing.
Happened?
We have nothing. What do you mean, what do we got? What do you mean, what do we have? You tell me what we got. We got nothing. Nothing's changed.
That's the problem.
Cool.
That is the problem. But how'd you get to Travis Hunter? You just trying to get that number 1 pick? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I'm wondering if you're not going to make a change and you're going to trot out what you've had the entire year, then we must be in the Travis Hunter sweepstakes. So go ahead and draft him. Put him at, a position where he doesn't belong, linebacker. because that's what this team will do. Well, he's got long arms, can grow into his size a little bit. Let's put him at lineman. Let's put him at safety. Like, screw that up in true Jaguars fashion. And let's get back on track here.
So you're really stunned that they didn't move? I mean, didn't make any move.
I'm stunned when you probably played the worst game in franchise history that no changes have been made. Yeah, I'm a little stunned, Brent.
Yeah, I am too. I guess nothing surprises me anymore.
So numb to the pain, Brent.
It's a good way to put it. I'm a little numb to the fact that everybody was calling for it to happen, and I wasn't so sure it was going to happen almost because of that. You know what I mean?
That's like the worst statement ever. We never do anything that the fans call for.
But this is the thing. This isn't even a fan. Listen, I understand the fans pay the tickets. The fans go to the game. You need your fan base. I'm just talking about from an organizational standpoint. You just played your worst game ever. Embarrassed. You're the laughingstock right now and all the national media. Turn on Pat McAfee. Turn on ESPN. Look what they're saying about the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. It ain't funny. Like, I'm sick and tired of being the laugh and the laughing stock of the NFL because it hasn't been a one-year thing. This has happened a couple years now. And the fact that you haven't made any change, you say, yeah, we'll see how this pans out. I think that's stupid.
Yeah, I do too. I think there's so many ways to go here. I've listened to a lot of different comments throughout the last day and a half, and obviously, I thought there would be some kind of change. I think Doug can make that change. He basically said everything's on the table, but then when asked about Ryan Nielsen yesterday about Mark Long, he said, "Yeah, I don't think I'm making changes." Like that's what he kind of said.
What a sequence that was.
Yeah, and he's a loyal guy to his staff. Like I almost respect that. I get that defending your people that you're in the trenches with. That's what he tries to do with the players as well. That's why he gets so aggravated at a lot of the questions, I think, because he doesn't want to throw guys under the bus. He's trying not to. And then you take the Shad Khan angle of it, and I'm kind of like, all right, is he not making a move right now because the noise is so loud, it just looks like he's listening to the fans only? Right? And again, I know what you just said. I'm not telling you that's the only thing you have to listen to, but I wonder if almost that's where he's coming from. Like, let this thing cool down a little bit, get out of that emotional state and see what the best course of action is. And then there are just some people like, what does it do? I think there are two examples right now in the league to say, what does it do? We think Robert Saleh being fired was a mistake. I think the Jets would be better than they are. I'm not sure how good. I just think they would be better than they are. I think that was a dumb move at the time. Firing Robert Saleh made no sense. I think I get what the owners think about that you don't usually get too much of maybe a one-game bump and then what does it mean type of thing after that. Understand the philosophy. But look what's happened in New Orleans. They fired Dennis Allen and Darren Rizzi's come in and they've won a couple of football games. Like they're 2-0. So isn't that an example of you can actually shake it up and send a message? I think the reason why I believe a shakeup here to some degree, maybe that's cutting a player. To some degree, some kind of message and statement is needed, is because in part this locker room doesn't really deliver it either. They're going to go sit on this for a week. They're going to be pissed off. That's fine, but they're not going to do anything that anybody notices, like throw something, get a penalty, get ejected from a game. Like they're not doing it. So if they're not doing it, and Doug's not doing it because of his loyalty to his staff, and Bulky's not kicking anybody off the team to send a message, then the only guy left to do anything really is Shad Khan. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to do anything. I got a feeling we're going to roll the ball back out on Monday and hopefully well rested and get ready for the Houston Texans, and nothing is going to change. I was just talking to my buddy. I was explaining, because he doesn't live down here, and I was just explaining the last week or so around here alone, because he's like, hey, I didn't call you yesterday because I figured I'd give you a little bit of time to decompress. That one. I was like, I've had 18 hours on the airwaves to talk about this one. Yeah. But I was just trying to explain to him, and he's like, well, something's got to change. Like, that was his first response. Same thing you said. It reminded me of what you said, right? Something's got to change.
Look, I'm not asking to make a change to try to win some football games. I'm not asking to even make a change to give the fan base hope. All I'm saying is if you're Shad Khan, you make a change because you can't go 52-6. Yeah, that's acceptable. That's what we do here in like. That's unacceptable. We talked about it yesterday. Yeah. It's unacceptable. That can't happen. I don't care if Trevor Lawrence is out. I don't care if you had your whole offensive line out. That can't happen. That's embarrassing. So when it does happen, then make a change. By not making a change, you're essentially saying, that's okay. Yeah, well, we'll just ride with this. And I don't like that.
Well, what I don't understand either, and we'll talk about this from the Doug side, but what even from a Shad side, what does he expect this team's going to look like in 2 Sundays? Like, what should we expect? Like, we have no idea if Trevor's going to play. If Trevor plays, we think it could look better. But what's this team going to look like? They're going to go get a few extra naps in? They're going to not practice? And they're going to be, like, all of a sudden flying around the football? Again, I'll go back to what my wife said to me yesterday. Like, it looks like everybody else hits so hard, and the Jags don't. All you got to do is watch that game last night. Houston's defense is flying their ass around. This defense doesn't do that. Give me the last time this defense hit somebody hard. Ventrell Miller. Actually hits his own guys hard. All right, take Ventrell Miller out.
He hits everybody hard.
But that's it. Like, Cisco used to hit people hard. Doesn't seem to be hitting anybody hard.
Yeah.
Savage, had a couple. I guess I shouldn't say it. I get but they don't seem to fly like that. I mean, it just doesn't jump off at you. Almost when you see a play, you're like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like. 1 out of 140 plays, because that's how long they're on the field for.
Yeah.
So
you saw that Petrie guy last night. He made 3 of them.
Oh yeah, 3 of them.
Like,
right?
Boom,
I mean,
boom, boom.
Just it just looks different.
How
it
many
looks like they're playing
fumbles do we
fast.
have?
Just looks like they're playing fast. Looks like we're not. Looks like we're playing in a box. We're sluggish. We're in mud. And I don't know what you're expecting on the other side of it, I would say. What's the expectation of the next 6 weeks if you don't change anything? And quite frankly, you could change something and it still might not change. But at least we could look forward to it. And maybe inside the building you could look forward to it. Again, I believe there's importance on these last 6 games in terms of the W and L column. I really do. I might be in the minority on that, but I do. And so what is going to help you win? Is keeping Doug Pederson the best option for the rest of the season to help you win? I can buy that from Shad's perspective. But it doesn't mean you can't change anything else. You don't need the GM to win. You don't need the GM. Like, what's he going to do over the next 6 weeks? Why does he need to be a part of this the next 6 weeks? To make, like, 3 transactions if somebody gets hurt? To decide who's going to be active on game day? Like, seriously, you do not need the GM this time of year.
Evaluating, Brent.
For what? Evaluating for what? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how much more I got to say it. Like,
well, listen, we're all saying it, but it begs the question now. It's like,
I just don't understand.
Are one of these guys going to survive?
I don't understand.
If nothing moved after Sunday, is it that far-fetched that somebody's surviving?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know.
I mean, I got told over the weekend, like, our buddy Real MBB, he's like, well, the fans been calling for this to happen for weeks. It's going to happen at the bye week. It's nothing new. It's like, okay, well, did it happen at the bye week? It hasn't happened at the bye week. Now, Ian Rappaport had a report that, hey, this could be like Carolina when they fired Joe Brady. They might sit on this a little bit, and they could still fire somebody or make a move into the weekend. I mean, they could.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have a deadline of if they didn't make it by Brent Austen Show at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, you're not doing it.
But I would like the deadline to be like, hey, that was the worst game ever. Let's go and make a change. Yeah. And once again, I don't need to clear house. I just need something. I need something to show, hey, we can't have that Lions game again. And there's nothing. It's the same, almost swore again, it's the same stuff. And I don't know what to say about it. Like, I don't think any other NFL team, and I get the Cowboys right now are reeling, and they're struggling as well. I think if the Cowboys go to Detroit like that, either McCarthy, a coordinator, something. Jerry Jones just wouldn't sit down and say, yeah, we can go ahead and lose, 52-6, and it's okay.
I will say I agree with you to some degree, but they're just as embarrassing. I mean, the Cowboys have lost. They've been down by 20 points in 6 consecutive games at home. At home. They've been down 20 points in every game the last 6 outings at home.
I'm not going to compare us to anybody.
What do you expect when you have Cooper Rush, though? Like,
Well, is that a little bit of the thing here with Jacksonville? They say, well, we had Mac Jones. Is that why you're not making a change? Remember that? Remember that?
Points.
That thought. I think Josina Anderson had that point that came out on Friday, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And is that part of the equation? Is that something like unwritten inside the business that you can't really do that, or you shouldn't do that? It looks kind of bad if you're starting quarterbacks out for a couple of weeks, even though we know it's bigger than the 52-6, right? Maybe that goes into it a little bit. Just trying to find reasons why. Maybe there's some uncomfortable part of that for Shad to fire with your backup quarterback going. But that has nothing to do with defense. Listen, I think it's worth repeating. We said it a lot yesterday, but it's worth repeating. Like I don't believe we sit here and say fire people all the time. I think people in front of a microphone in this town, and we've done this for a long time, and there's been a lot of people to fire in the college ranks and the NFL ranks. And I think we often come back to be like, listen, I'm not a huge guy to fire everybody right away, right? Everybody always said, like, everybody's first thing is fire. Billy Napier was dead. He was dead. He was gone. He was out. It was over. It was no chance of happening. He's back. And now people like him. They like him. I mean, it's unbelievable. What a comeback. It's like...
Oh, relax now. It's one game. Relax.
Hey, no.
Relax.
All you got to do is listen to Gators, man.
Wow, that Texas game we just forgot all about, huh?
No, they played the backup, and they've been playing good. They almost,
Georgia and
never
Tennessee.
Mind, they competed right up with Georgia. And the
Texas game not happen?
He's back from the dead, man, is the point.
The Hook'em Horns not happened? Okay.
But he's back.
2 weeks ago. All right.
But that's where we go. I don't feel like we go there all the time. But I honestly have a hard time. I guess Doug can't make a move on the defensive side with Nielsen, but I think it's like actually justified that you could move on after 9
linebackers
games.
coach, secondary coach, something.
The reason I think has he put himself in a corner that he can't do anything on the defensive side because he blamed the defensive guys last year, fired Caldwell and the whole staff, and so when he did that, it actually kind of looked bad because their offense still isn't any good either. But this defense is actually worse than the Caldwell defense.
Way worse.
So could you make the case to fire somebody on the defensive side? Again, I'm not advocating for these guys to be fired. I'm just wondering, again, change of something has got to change. What is going to change? Is Doug Pederson going to come out after the bye week and tell us that they are practicing at a different time of day? Are they no, seriously, are they going to practice, go to Episcopal and practice, take away the Miller Electric Center? I don't know. Call plays, like anything. Just please tell us something changed other than the fair is done downtown and it went away and left the parking lot.
What a disaster.
Oh,
Like something has to change. He says they're doing a deep dive. What are they really going to deep dive?
What are you going to deep dive?
What are they deep diving?
Deep diving in a kiddie pool. Ain't nothing. There ain't no deep. It's nothing. It's shallow. It's very shallow. This team is not good.
Listen,
the end.
And by the way, if you think those guys are in the building on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd wonder that. I think they're catching their breath too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, you can deep dive from home on the laptop too. You can do those things. But, I mean, what do you fix? He put this thing in motion since February, in March. And you've been reluctant to change anything already. The biggest change we've seen probably this year, I think there's 2 changes I feel like I've seen. One, and they're both on the defensive side. One is they went to that shell defense, so they got away from their man against Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And 2 is they started to play Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen more snaps, right? Because there was some angst about that. So they got him on the field a little bit more. They went from like 65% up to like 80% at one time. And I don't even know. I think last week somebody said Hines-Allen was hardly on the field in that football game, if I saw that correctly.
He was less, but it wasn't that big.
But, I mean, at this point, we're not even talking about it because it didn't matter in that football game if he was on for 100 plays or not. But other than that, what have you changed? So what are you going to come out and change? They don't practice all week, just to let everybody know. Like the bye week, just because you get extra time, you don't fix a whole lot. Yeah, you just go back to work next Monday, and you catch your breath, which is fine. I'm not knocking that. Like, that's fine. It is a long season. I agree with all those things.
55% for Josh.
Yeah, that was very low.
Yeah.
Very low for Josh Hines-Allen. But I just don't know what they're going to fix if they don't make a change somewhere else. And again, I'm not even saying that the change would help, but change for change's sake sometimes just needs to be done.
Mr. Pico said at least make Ryan Nielsen shave his mustache.
There you go. Fine. Fine.
Austin, Coach Ripley says that's T-shirt worthy. Deep diving into a kiddie pool.
Yeah, there we go, man. Make it happen.
We got some T-shirts that could be made this season.
Just make sure you wear a helmet. I don't want to, you can hurt your neck.
Yeah, we're not advocating that.
Not advocating anybody.
Or maybe we should put don't.
Don't deep
Don't
dive into
deep
a shallow
dive into
pool.
a kiddie
Yeah.
pool. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't know if I actually thought they would make some moves, but I felt like Doug, he was going to talk yesterday, and once he talked yesterday, I was like, okay, he's not going anywhere.
Right.
Then I thought maybe Doug's going to surprise us a little bit though and make some kind of move. Maybe he'll make some kind of move.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and he hasn't, and he won't. He's not. He left that open. If you go back and listen to that news conference, I'm pretty sure, and not to nitpick his words too much, it was like, yeah, everything's open, but yeah, not everything's open. It was very much, I'm going to be loyal to my guys. I don't do that, I think is what he said, right? I'm not doing that. He was pretty matter of fact about it when asked about Nielsen.
I mean, I thought for sure watching yesterday, I'd at least feel like, okay, I've decided I'm going to be calling the play. We're going to take a look at how we call the play. Something.
How about the play call question answer? Oh, what did you guys see that part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can we play it?
Well,
So-
we can,
I got it.
You want to do it right now? Okay.
Sure.
Just real quick, because I'm tired of talking about this topic. Like
We all are,
I'm not
but-
belaboring the topic. I just thought we had like 4 different interpretations of this in the media room.
No, I'm just because I'm reminded. I think it was back in 2011 when our defense, I think we weren't doing that. No, I'm sorry, that might have been 10. I don't know. One of the defense's years, Jack Del Rio surrendered responsibility.
Yeah,
because Jack was calling the plays, and then also he made Mel Tucker call the plays because we had a game of 3 straight games where it was bad. So Jack Del Rio goes, okay, I'm done calling plays. And we were sort of competing, it wasn't okay, we were the bottom of the barrel in terms of defense, but it's just this stretch of games hasn't been going well. Let me make a change. We've gone through a longer stretch, a big time stretch with nothing. But Hamby, go ahead and let's see what we got.
Gosh, I really wish. Let's just put it this way, everything's on the table. Let's leave it at that.
So what did you guys? That was interesting to me. I honestly I still don't know if I know.
I want to know so bad.
So, but what did you think? What did you think that meant? What was the I wish?
I feel like he was wanting to say, I wish I could just take you back to the very beginning and give you the 15-minute version of why we're here. And all I've had to deal with and all that's going on that you guys don't see and you guys don't understand.
Well, so you're referencing then, so it's the players not making plays and guys running different stuff and that kind of thing,
Hamby,
right?
play it one more time, please.
Gosh, I really wish. Let's just put it this way, everything's on the table.
So what was the
Let's leave it
exact
at that.
question there? Again, I can't.
Just asked about play. Have
So
you
who-
thought about taking play
Yeah,
calling?
God, I wish.
Like me asked how long.
Yeah.
Part of me
know.
wishes
At least I didn't ask.
I don't know. At least he didn't ask.
I'm not even going there right now.
No,
folks.
for sure. Yeah, you're good.
I'm done with it.
Brent's just.
I'm done. But
Brent, don't you think is I wish I don't have to I wish I didn't have to cover everybody else's rear?
no, because he doesn't. No, I think this. Our interpretation was more. It's not the play calling. It's the guys not making plays. They're in wrong spots. They're doing stupid things that they're not being coached to do. But I get that happens. That happens on almost every play. Austin, you play in the league.
Yeah.
You got 11 players. You telling me every guy does everything right on every defensive play?
of
No.
course not.
You make up for it. You do different. I get it. That's why every play doesn't work. But you can't just sit here and tell us every week or every month or every year that all of this is because guys aren't making the right plays. I've got a handful of plays and be like, what was that call in this spot, including the Wildcat move yesterday or Sunday, going all the way back to the Philly first down interception with Trevor late in the game. There's too many examples to just say, okay, this is all good. You got to take some ownership of this.
So here's where my conspiracy theory brain goes when I heard this yesterday. Because today I kind of feel the same way about it. We've seen when Doug gets asked questions that he's annoyed about, he usually kind of has a smart aleck answer in response. And I feel like the I wish thing was nothing different, but then all of a sudden he stopped himself. Which led me to believe, like, did Shad Khan give him some like sort of ultimatum where, hey, we're not talking about this whole play calling thing anymore. Like, this is squashed. And like Doug was just to come out and say, like, I wish I could tell you guys, but unfortunately someone said I can't say anything about something like that. That's what I thought. Now it's because you know why? Because that's crazy to think about, Brent. That's absolutely, you know how insane that is?
Yeah.
That an owner's given an ultimatum, you can't talk about the play calling. But that's where my brain goes, because you know why? We won 2 games this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like Charlie, I'm like the Charlie meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where I'm trying to like, I have like the board and I'm trying to pinpoint everything. And
I honestly think I wish I could show you the plays these guys are messing up. I wish I could show you what the route, why you would run this route here, why the quarterback would throw it 3 yards out of bounds on like 5 consecutive plays.
Stay tuned to Paint the Play this up and coming week while I dissect the...
And dissect the what?
What do you want to call it? The Travis Etienne RPO? That wasn't really an RPO?
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it that then.
But, I mean, listen. In Doug's mind, my guess is he looks at that Trevor play against Philly, what the hell? He looks at the Mac play against Minnesota, what the hell? And he looks at Mac's performance, quite frankly, with like 5 consecutive balls being thrown out of bounds, not even catchable to anybody except for the ball boy. And it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And so he's like, how do you want us to do this if Travis Etienne can't go get a yard and there's a hole there? But that can't be all of it. That's what I'm getting at. I believe Doug is right on that. I've defended these guys, Press Taylor, Doug. The plays are there over the years. But this just comes back to some of it. You got to make it easy. It's 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2 for 3 years, and they can't get it. That ain't all on players. That ain't all on players. It can't be. So, and again, Doug made the bet on the play calling thing so he can get as exasperated as he wants. He just needed to answer the question anytime over the last 11 months. He made his bet on this topic. So he gets exasperated by it. He defends the hell out of Press Taylor and calling plays and their offense. But I think this was about guys make plays. And there's plenty of guys not making plays, I understand. But you know what? There's plenty of coaches not coaching well enough, too. That's fair enough to say. And that includes the play caller. They have 3 weeks of historically bad offense in a 3rd year of a system. That can't be all on the players. It can't. You have got to take some accountability for that. Have to. But he's exasperated by it. And we're exasperated by the Jags. Hey, when we come back, we'll ask Mike Malarkey about a couple of these things.
Let's get it, man.
Oof. I didn't think you'd have this much energy on a Tuesday.
Me?
Yeah. Here you are.
Yeah.
All right. Shad Khan, what's
I had to hold it down for both of us, Brent.
The ball is in his court. Always is, by the way.
Yeah. Let's just chill a little bit in the corner. Let's see how it happens.
It's make it, take it all the time for Shad Khan. We'll be right back on the Brent Austen Show.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder grade materials. And there's more, and for that we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show. I've taken a deep breath. I've saying kumbaya. Okay, doing some meditation. I'm in a better mood now, Brent. I know you're freaking out a little bit. I'm trying to help you out, by the way, man. Like, dudes posting out articles and everything. I'm trying to hype that up a little bit, Brent. Like, you should still be your hype man.
That was a funny post.
Oh, well, it was a true post. Like, is this still up there, by the way? Like, do we know the articles? For those of you that aren't,
Still up.
that aren't following along, Brent read a great article comparing, the Detroit Lions to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Where have the Detroit Lions gone right, and where have the Jaguars gone wrong? And most importantly, if you're the Jaguars, how do you dig yourself out of the hole, and how do you turn it around? I'm not saying this season. I'm saying this will be a couple years, right, Brent? But
this offseason, this next cycle, right? And how do you sustain it?
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes there's competition. Sometimes you have to go head-to-head with other big news stories. And the other news story that dropped yesterday, I guess there was a severed head that was discovered someplace. Where? In the Bahamas, Hamby?
Key Biscayne, I think it was.
I don't know where that is, man.
Isn't that down in Miami? Something like that? I thought it was in South Florida.
We'll call it the Bahamas. So Brent's in competition with that right now, and unfortunately, it kind of like, you know how it works sometimes, like, remember like with MySpace, it's the top 8, right? Well, the first one in the top left corner, that was your best friend, right? Or like that was like maybe a girlfriend or something. Well, right now on the top 8, Brent's like number 6 or 7. So he's kind of fallen a little bit. So be sure to click on Brent Martineau's article because we got to beat the severed head story.
Yeah. We got to beat the severed head story.
I'm just saying.
Yes, it is down in Miami.
Miami. Okay. What is Action Sports Miami? What is this? Action News Miami?
I don't know what was up with that. I think it was just that was from our maybe we have a Palm Beach station or something.
Ah, okay, a little sister station.
Yeah, we got this is maybe an aggregated story somehow.
Mr. Pico Boulevard goes, Lions have good coaches and players. That's exactly what Brent wrote. That was it.
Yeah,
one sentence.
It was longer than that.
Yeah.
What's interesting about the one thought I could have gone so much deeper into that article. It was already long enough. And if you haven't had a chance to read it, actionnewsjacks.com, maybe we'll even put it in the feed here, a link to it. But the one thing that, part of that was, hey, you need a Spielman, right? You need, is it the Baselli, right? You need somebody looking out for the organization. And the one problem with putting somebody in power in the organization that's kind of beloved in the organization is you might have to fire them in the organization. Mm-hmm. So can you kind of create a position that you don't have to do that, right? So that bottom line is you hired Tom Coughlin, you had to fire Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
You really would like to avoid that. So can you make it not an unfireable position? Everybody's job is on the line to some degree, but can you at least cushion it a little bit where you can get around the idea of, hey, it doesn't work in 3 years, you're done.
Yeah.
So I think like if you look at the Spielman stuff in Detroit, it doesn't feel like you wouldn't even know if he was hired or fired. That's my point. He's kind of a silent leader in a way. So that's the nature of it. If you want to check it out, actionnewsjacks.com is the place to go. All right.
What do you think, Brent? Crockett and Tubbs, Miami Vice reboot? You down?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it, man.
That seems like it would have been a good Halloween costume.
That would have been a great one. Dang.
Hey, so Hamby, you're confident we got Coach? Yeah, there's Coach. Can Coach hear us is the question.
I've got you.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
I got to be so nervous of getting on this website. A nervous wreck compared to talking to you guys.
Yeah, we don't make it easy on you. A simple phone call doesn't work in our world anymore, Coach. Sorry about that.
All good.
Head coach Mike Malarkey, former Jags coach, and the resume, and from Buffalo to Tennessee, and now retired. How is retirement going? Boy, you must be so glad you're not on a sideline in a season like this.
Every Sunday I see something somewhere that I say to myself, I'm glad I am happily retired. So I'm in a hotel room in St. Augustine. My wife surprised me for my birthday today brought me down here for the night, and you can't do that if you're not happily retired and away from everything like that.
Good for you, by the way.
Birthday,
and
Coach.
Happy birthday to Mike Malarkey, and 63 years young. You're looking good.
Hey, I feel good. I do. I'm not letting the old man in, I promise you.
Yeah, good. Nice. Yeah, I've run into you a few weeks back. You're in very good shape still. The one thing that you've been able to do in retirement, outside of family, because family's the easy answer and you got to go there, right? You got to say it. I mean, you got kids and grandkids and wife and everything else. I know that. But one thing you've been able to do that like you just couldn't do when you were coaching and so consumed by the NFL.
Traveling much more, trying to play golf more, and trying to fish more. The things I had planned on doing, I'm actually doing. So I have not been bored a day, I can promise you. But I still follow, the league. Obviously, my son's involved. I won't mention with which team he is involved. It's probably not a good week to.
Yeah, we know. No, because I was going to ask you about that. I mean, when you're let's look at it from Detroit's point of view for a second. Just an absolute butt whooping. And you're a physical guy. You preach physical play. When you look at what they did and what they're doing, And obviously your son's in the organization and what they've been able to accomplish. And I'd love to know the secret sauce because we're trying to figure it out here. But if you just look at that football game, what we say from the outside coaches, that wasn't an NFL game. Like that does not happen in the NFL. Like that should not happen in the NFL the way Montgomery has like 8 yards before he even gets breathed on, you know?
I thought it looked like a 7-on-7 segment.
It did. It did.
It
and
was
so
on air.
But how amazingly good is that for the Lions to feel that way? I mean, it's almost like a perfect football game, isn't it?
You know, they're playing the coach's mentality. I mean, that's Dan Campbell. That's how Dan Campbell played when he played. I mean, I like to think I played the same way. I mean, Dan and I are very similar. You know, he came up to me back in 19 when I was coaching tight ends. He was coaching tight ends in New Orleans and said, you know, I've always liked the way you've coached, whether it's been coaching tight ends or a coordinator or a head coach. Your guys, you're always physical. And, you know, I went up to a practice of camp this year, and you know, I don't know if you remember this. He goes, "I know exactly what you're going to tell me. I know." I said, "Well, you've got it, and they're drinking the Kool-Aid because that's the way they play. They believe in what he's preaching, and you know, and the coordinator's got to, you know, Ben Johnson does a great job, but he's got to believe in the same thing, and he does." He likes running the football. He likes having some fun with some trick plays. He didn't even have to use any this past week, which is surprising. But he's got the mentality of the head coach, and if you don't have that, it's hard to have guys play like that.
Coach, when we talk about the mentality of a head coach, let's flip things around here in Jacksonville then. You know, I mean, I remember, you know, back when you coached us 2012, right? And obviously it wasn't a great season, but I remember when New England came to town, we almost seemed to get up extra for that one because we knew the playoffs weren't going to be within reach. I think we won 2 games up into that New England Patriots game, but it was like, this is the talk of the NFL. Like, it's Tom Brady, it's the Patriots. Like, we want to show out at home. And I almost got the same vibe. Like, this is the Lions. Like, yeah, you're probably going to go to the playoffs this year, Jacksonville Jaguars, but guess what? You're taking on a team that everyone's talking about right now. I think that Patriots game, we might have lost. I think it was a close game. We might have lost like 7 or 8, or whatever the case may be, maybe even 6. But
we had them beat. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Yeah. It should have been our win. Tom Brady had the best game and everything, and unfortunately, we lost it at the end. But then you see 52-6, and you see a defense in Jacksonville that they couldn't stop anything. You were essentially at the mercy of Dan Campbell and those Lions. Like, what does it say about your team, Coach, when that game looks like that against? I know you're not going to the playoffs, but you're playing against a team that everyone's talking about.
Well, you know, I go back to Dan again, but if you look at his staff, okay, you know, the defensive coordinator played in the NFL. The O-line coach, Hank Fraley, I had a chance to coach Hank Fraley in Pittsburgh. Hank loves beating the tar out of you. Okay, I'm not, and again, this is nothing second guess. I think Doug's an excellent football coach, but one is an ex tight end, want to, you know, pummel you, and then one head coach is a quarterback coach. If you play quarterback in the league, and I just, you know, there's 2 different mentalities. I think your players play to, you know, your personality, and you know, I just look across the league when it comes to guys that have played in the trenches, some of their success and some guys that haven't. I mean, I have a hard time coach with Jason Garrett. He was my quarterback coach with the Dolphins when I was down there as a coordinator. You know, I had a hard time picturing him up in front of an NFL team trying to motivate them to try to kick somebody's rear end in for 60 minutes. It's just, you know, it's got to be who you are. And I think players play to that mentality. I mean, that you see it around the league, and you see even certain positions of guys that have been in the trenches. Their guys play that style of football. So, you know, that's just my belief. I think there's a different mentality when it comes to trying to get a team to motivate. And you know me, Austin, physical over finesse every day of the week is going to have a good chance to win.
Coach, obviously we've been hearing Ben Johnson, a name being thrown around in a lot of head coaching circles. You know, a lot of teams in need will probably be pursuing Ben Johnson. And this is a guy who, he has the X's and O's part down, right? But I think a question that I have, like, say Jacksonville's interested in him, right? Say Doug Pederson's gone, say they're looking to try to rebuild the culture and really tear it down from the studs and build back up. Do you think the resume of Ben Johnson, being this X's and O's guy, has the capability to take a team like the Jaguars, who, let's be honest, man, they're in the dumps right now, and try to rise them back up and create that culture? Or does Ben Johnson need a team kind of like Andy Reid had, where he goes to Kansas City, all the pieces were kind of in place, you drafted here, you drafted there, but you had a lot of great players already in piece in Kansas City, and all you got to do is just kind of bring your prowess of X's and O's?
I think he's a tremendous coordinator. His play calling is some of the best I've ever seen. Either situation, the thing they did in Detroit, if you watch how Detroit was built, I mean, Brad Holmes has done a great job of putting the pieces together there to help Dan Campbell. And the pieces are what Dan and that staff believe in. So you got to have that ability, and you got to have the patience. If you look at Dan's first year, you're not real excited with the direction they're going, but he didn't change his philosophy. He didn't change his message, and they got players that fit the system. And you see what can happen a couple of years later after doing that. You just got to, if you could have some patience. It's tough to build a roster in a year and or put a team together in a year. Unfortunately, I experienced that. But if you put Ben Johnson with a team that's got some players on it, already, the sky is the limit. He gets it. When I was up at the camp, I didn't know if he knew who I was. I was just, it was after practice. All the players and coaches were around their families, and I walked over to him and I didn't introduce myself to him, and I said, "Hey, I just enjoy watching your play call, and I think it's very well planned and thought out. Every snap you're always a play ahead." And he's looked at me and he goes, I appreciate that. If I can just get my guys to play at the level you always got your guys to play at. I'm like, oh, wait, I think he maybe does know who I am. So I know he knows that mentality to go with what, his ability to call plays. He's very good. I mean, really good. And he likes to have fun with some of you look at some of the trick plays, gadget plays, or I call them special plays. They're well thought out, and they work extremely well.
Yeah, they've got a nice balance of power and also explosiveness. I mean, that's what they've built. They've got a ton of speed. They can beat you in a bunch of ways. They can play different varieties of ball. They've got the quarterback playing well. Listen, we all try to guess this, Coach, of why it's gone wrong. I mean, this is unfathomable, quite frankly, that this football team's 2-9 and you lose the way you did based on their roster and kind of the feel. And quite frankly, Doug, I think what you said, I think Doug's a good football coach. I think he knows how to win games. And we saw it here for a couple of years. This is stunning. But from your view, and we've all guessed and tried to figure it out, what do you think has gone wrong? It's never one thing, and I get that. But was the roster not as good as we thought? Are they not getting enough out of it? Is the quarterback not as good as we think? I mean, where do you fall? Where do you fall the most when something like this goes awry? In a league that's pretty tight, I get that, right? I mean, the margins are slim outside of the Detroit and maybe Buffalo game this year.
I don't know if anybody can just pinpoint one specific thing. I know it always starts at the top. That's with ownership. I've been fortunate to be around the Rooney family for 11 years and some of these other owners. I think that's a big part of it. I caught the tail end of your having a football guy like Spielman in there. You did have a football guy in there with Tom Coughlin, probably the best thing Shad's ever done, and probably firing him is probably the worst thing they've ever done because he is a football guy. Is he tough? Is he, hard on today's players? Maybe that's what they need. I don't know. I know they went to the AFC Championship game when Tom Coughlin was hired there, and they haven't done much since. I think a Spielman type. He's quietly like a shadow when I was there at training camp this year, and he's there to just overlook everything and has input on anything that he sees. And maybe that's what's needed is just a true football guy that's not involved with salary caps and designing plays, just somebody that can oversee the whole thing. And I thought it was Tom Coughlin.
Yeah,
personally.
well, and you the reason I wrote an article yesterday, we've talked about this a bunch for the last year, Coach, just to catch you up on it. It's like my belief is in your league, in the NFL, listen, these are high-paying jobs. There's a lot of ego. There's also when the what hits the fan like it is right now, you get a lot of finger pointing and trying to protect these jobs. And so my point with the Spielman stuff, or if you have somebody in there looking out for the organization that doesn't need to do that, that's where I think that comes in, because there's no doubt there's finger pointing going on right now. There has to be inside those walls. You know what happens. And I guess that's my overarching problem. Is somebody going to relay to Shad what exactly is going on, or protect the organization, talk to the fans, just have the back of the organization, this city, this town, what it is, because this is a different market too. So I guess that's my point, and it's interesting to hear you say that. I think it's fair to say Tom might not have been the right time and place given today's player versus, at least sustaining it, right? But he certainly made an impact in year number 1 before it started to go the other way. Are you surprised coming off this game and at 2-9 that nobody got even fired? That's the way the league works.
Unfortunately, I was in this position in 17 with the Titans. We I don't know if you remember this. We had to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars the last game of the year to make the playoffs, and that whole week was about me getting fired if we don't beat the Jags. And people forget 2 years earlier we had the first pick of the draft in 2016, and here we are on the verge of going to the playoffs. And there was no support to say if I don't win the game, I'm still the head coach moving forward. Because we had back-to-back winning seasons after being the worst team in the NFL for 2 years in a row. And when there was no support, that was hard on not just me, our staff and the team. It was really hard on my family. And as you saw today, Jerry has already said Mike McCarthy is our coach to finish out this league, or finish out this season. And Doug's just sitting there. He has no idea what's going on, and players are seeing that.
Yeah.
So you think they should just make a statement one way or another with all the noise?
Make a statement. Yeah, say it. Just give the team, let everybody know, because there's a lot of unfortunately we had to deal with it. And we did beat the Jaguars, but the firing me didn't calm down. It actually got twice as bad as it did when we went to the playoffs, when we had to beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, which we did. But the weeks of that was very hard on our football. You're talking about distractions, and like you said, questioning of what's happening. Really hard on our staff. They all got families as well. And it came down to, we went to New England, this eventual Super Bowl winner, the next week, and we lost, and I got fired after that. So after taking a team to the playoffs and winning for the first time in 14 years. So this league nothing surprises me. Every week, I told you, Sundays there's something that shows up that I'm thankful I'm not in it anymore.
You by the way you did have very unique situations, in all your stops, didn't you?
The best thing I did there at the end, which I can now talk about, was when I got called in that Monday morning after the New England game. I knew they were going to fire me. So Sunday night, I called Ian Rappaport and I said, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to break it to you. But I'm getting a new contract in the morning." And he reported it was all over the country. I was getting a contract in the morning, knowing that I was going to get fired. But I just wanted to see the faces on the owner and the GM who was out to get me. And I'm pretty sure I got him for a minute or two.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
When I walked in the next morning, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation. It was like,
you're done. Did your agent do that, or did you do that just on your own?
I had a standing policy with my assistants. If they talked to any of these guys, the Rappaports and those guys behind the scenes without going through the media director, I would fire them. I didn't want any sources coming out of our locker room, and I totally broke the rule. I called my agent and I said, "Hey, tell them this," knowing what really was about to happen.
Hey, so if you don't mind, indulge us for a minute. How were you stunned when you got let go and Jacksonville after 1 year? I know you didn't think necessarily it was fair and everything else after just one season, but was that surprising? Or because we've actually brought you and Gene up a little bit in this scenario, if I'm being honest with you, that this year we think one of the things that Shad is going to move on is that he got up in front of the team before camp and said this is the best football team that he's had. And he was probably told that by GM Trent Baalke. And we kind of feel like back in 2012, Gene Smith said something similar, and I'm not sure if you did or Gene did or whoever, that you guys had a team that could compete for the playoffs, and you ended up obviously 2-14. So are there some parallels there when you say something to Shad like that and you kind of overpromise and underdeliver that he doesn't like that?
No, I thought we could be competitive, which I thought we were. I really, like I think I've told you this, guys, on the last show, twice that year, including the last game of the year when we're 2-13. I had an official approach me on the sideline and say, "Hey, I've never seen a team that plays with this intensity and energy for the position they're in." I said, "They have played like this every game of the year. That's why we've had chances to win more than we've won, but at least we had chances." So, I just need more than one year. And I don't know if I told him I thought we could be competitive, much more competitive than we were, obviously. But no, I didn't think after 1 year, but it was a brand new ownership. Shad had just bought the team literally the same week he interviewed me. When he interviewed me, he asked me if players played, both ways. And that's when I thought, well, this is going to be an interesting job here in Jacksonville. But, I wanted to take that team over and hopefully make a difference. But unfortunately, I didn't.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, Coach, when you have a game like the Lions that just pounced the Jaguars for 52-6, like do you look at the film? Do you bring the team in and go, "Hey guys, we need to get better here. Here's the mistakes," or do you just go, "That's not who we are"? You burn the film and you're on to the next one. You enjoy the bye week. Like, how would you approach that as a coach?
We'd watch that tape. I promise you that. You know that, Austin.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know the whole. Huh?
They did too.
Doug
told us yesterday that they did watch a tape.
Yeah.
And and you got to watch yourself. And because all the pressure is on Doug and Trent Baalke right now, but players got to realize too that they're being evaluated each and every play by every other team. There's in-house scouts that look at those games, and when they're really being evaluated, if something happened to Doug and a new coach had to come in, I know as a new head coach, I would go in. I would watch the last half of the season, at least the last 6 games, and I'd watch players to see if there was any give up in them, because I wanted to know before I got in front of them, who I was dealing with. So they're being evaluated probably more than they'll ever realize right now to see how they're playing.
We're going to let you go in a minute so you can enjoy your birthday. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Mike Malarkey, former Jags head coach, Titans, Bills, of course, long career between college, NFL, more than 30 years now, retired, and hanging out with us on his birthday, which is nice of him to do down there in St. Augustine. What do you believe in firing people middle of the year? Because I don't think a lot of the owners do. Like, does it accomplish anything? And if not, what should we expect the last 6 games out of this Jags team? Do you think they're going to get off the mat? Because if it looks like that again, I don't want to watch it.
I think somebody needs to step up and support that we're moving forward with Doug. I mean, I've been an interim head coach. We fired, Coach Wisenhunt in Tennessee. I had to take over in the middle of the season. And you can't change anything. Okay, I don't know what other than preach your philosophy, because players aren't changing. You can't change the coaching staff, can't change the facility, can't change the schemes in the middle of the season. Really difficult to take over and think you're going to, succeed just because your philosophy may be different than the previous head coach. So I don't understand the firings in the middle of the seasons, and some as early as they've been this year. But that's just my feelings on it.
Yeah, it's and I think your feelings are echoed. We agree. Saleh got fired way too early. Yeah. They would be way better off if they had Robert Saleh. Now, I will say this: Dennis Allen got fired, and they're 2-0 since. I don't know if that really means a whole lot or not, but it's a small sample. But I do know that's that's kind of the tone of management. Is like, does it really do anything long term? And you've got the feeling now that Doug's going to get a chance to ride this thing out, see if they can win some football games. It's hard to predict that they will, coming off that performance against the Detroit Lions. One last one to end it. Would you play Trevor Lawrence if he's healthy now that the season is kind of shot?
Absolutely. He needs as many snaps as he can get. So I know it's his non-throwing shoulder. Look, you got nothing to lose right now. You need that guy to have some more experience personally.
Do you think?
Yes, I would.
Do you think he's been like not good? Good? Like where
I think he's been very consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
So he gives you kind of hope that, hey, that's in there, and then at the end, then it's kind of like, got to get more of it.
Yeah. I told you I last time we spoke, I was blessed to be with Matt Ryan for his first 4 years. And I just, what I saw in Matt as far as your team having the chance to win no matter what score was at any point in the game and the players believing they had a chance. I don't know if I don't sense that when I watch games that's the feeling on that team.
We'll have to ask him one more question then, Brent. Coach, how do you feel about the whole EPA, like all the analytical stuff? Because it drives me crazy, but I'm a little more old school when it comes to like what do your eyes tell you as opposed to what some stats could say. But like obviously I think the EPA is kind of a newer stat, but do you buy into all that stuff or is it more of you got to pass the eye test?
I think it's information overload. I mean, I used to, I hadn't really been involved with that till, Tony Khan came into the world in 12 with me, and I would get stacks and stacks of information. That and again, I'm anal that I'm worried about if I don't look at it, I'm missing something that's going to help us win. But there are certain times and places of when you need those and don't. And I think even Dan Campbell is a great example of that, of some of the decisions he made in the championship game are different to me than they would be during the regular season because regular season it can cost you a game, but it'll cost you a playoff loss if you overthink it too much. So I don't know. I'm old school, so I was around the league for a long time without all that and did okay.
We appreciate the stories and some of the insight, Coach. Beautiful day down in St. Augustine, so go enjoy it and happy birthday once again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, fellas. Appreciate you letting me come on. Good luck with everything there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Enjoy retirement. That's what he just said. You guys deal with it.
Gonna go ahead and clip that soundbite of Coach talking about the EPA and go ahead and make that my new ringtone because that's what that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, it's interesting to listen because I don't think Coach is afraid to say it, and I can appreciate it. That older guard, right? We've really watched the league change. We say this all the time. We started the show together some 6 years ago. I think it was 19, was it? I forget my days now, but maybe it was early 19. So we're getting close to 6 years. And we said it. You left the league at what, 2014?
Yeah.
That 5 years from when you left the league to when we started the show. And now the last couple of years, like Malarkey's been out. Like the player has changed. The league has changed. And I appreciate what he said about Tom Coughlin and especially reference to like the article that I wrote. And Tom was right. Like idea was right. But the sustainability of that in today's day and age wasn't going to work. Like I think that's part of the reason why Coach Malarkey's enjoying retirement because he has a hard time probably relating to some of the things of today's player.
Listen, this is why I never got into coaching. Right, like maybe in some capacity one day I'll help out with like Pop Warner or like high school. Are you talking about collegiate, which I've been offered? Like Murray State wanted me to come in for a defensive line coach. Didn't have to, no interview, no nothing. Just hey, you want to come coach? Absolutely not. Do you want me to set the record for most transfers in a year? Because that's what I would probably do. Because like that's like I had Malarkey as a coach. I had Joe Cohen. Like I had these guys that, and once again, I think this is why I respected Coach Malarkey because I felt like we're kind of cut from the same cloth. I feel like some guys on our teams weren't, and they were more of that newer school mold. And I guess if you're the coach now, you gotta learn how to mold yourself to that. I can't.
You got to pander to the next generation.
Of course. And now, especially, with college is another story. But yeah, you got to pander.
College is probably a whole different story. But in the professional world, I think you look at Dan Campbell and everything Malarkey said about Campbell and who he is and what he represents. But he does have fun, too, and can still relate to that side of them. Like there's a balance there. So it's not all or nothing. I think we have to be careful of that. It's not all or nothing. I think guys want to work. I always say this about the player. The player, you've said it and you've taught me this, players want to be coached. They want to be coached hard. They want to get the most out of themselves. They want to be great. And they think if you're there for them and do it. Now, you have to also be able to do that say, hey, I know you got to go see your family today, or hey, take a break today a little bit. Like you've got to be able to balance these two things in today's world. And I think, again, Campbell comes off like he's a lot of fun, but he'll also kick your ass.
No, and that's the thing. It's crazy how it seems like it's coming around full circle again. Because a couple years ago, it was all about the Cliff Kingsburys and like these young, hotshot upstart guys who were going to have juice boxes at practice and have cell phone time at practice and everything to try to relate, to the modern.
We should ask Malarkey about that.
Save it for the next time. Go and table that.
I can only imagine how
go and table that for next time. And listen, Kingsbury in his own right is a great play caller, correct?
Yeah.
But now, as a head coach, maybe not so much. Well, now we're starting to see, Vrabel's a really hot name. Vrabel's going to be like, Vrabel's the old school type of dude.
Well, that's right. Vrabel. I don't know if Malarkey loves the Vrabel replaced him.
That's why I was going to ask him about it.
But he also is that kind of guy. Like who he is, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. Like you essentially replaced like Coach Malarkey with another Coach Malarkey in a way.
You kind of did.
So that kind of
now Vrabel was an up and coming star.
Sure,
he was. Sure. People thought he was a star, and he did a good job.
Yeah. But he's come from the same cloth, I feel like, as Coach Malarkey is.
They didn't really change. They didn't go like a 180 away from.
Correct. But it's wild how maybe now that's going to be like Dan Campbell's obviously the hottest name right now, right? This guy has turned over the Detroit Lions of all teams. Well, maybe there's something to be said for maybe have that old school approach a little more because the past couple years seemed like, it's the new school. It's the offense. Hold your horses a little bit, It's crazy how it comes full circle.
The Malarkey story about telling Ian Rappaport.
That's insane.
Is amazing.
That's awesome.
And you know why? Because everybody who's about to get fired wants to go flipping the bird out the building.
Yep.
No, that's
that's
the ultimate middle finger.
Way. I didn't know where he was going with that.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember that.
Neither did I.
That was awesome. Because I bet like that must have been everywhere. I got to go back and look now at some of the articles.
Yep.
It must have been everywhere.
Yep. That's amazing.
I bet.
January 14th, 2018, 8:42 p.m. Sources: the Titans have offered Mike Malarkey an extension in the wake of their playoff run. Period. He's staying. All the comments, well, that was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
That is so great.
That's amazing.
And by the way,
I love it.
Rappaport hasn't picked up a Malarkey text or phone call.
Oh, no.
Okay, so
what
look, Brent,
that relationship's been like.
Whenever in this offseason, whenever you're at a meetings or the draft or anything, and you see Rappaport, you've got to remember to ask him about that.
We should. Well, you already got a history with Rappaport, too, in a good way.
Well, I had a history. Yeah. Guy kind of just blocked me, man.
I remember, we
were homies. Tweets. Yeah, man. We were vibing over Carly Rae Jepsen together and everything, and then all of a sudden, he got too big, man.
Yeah,
he got too big, and I stayed the same.
Hey, whatever. We're way late on our break. Thanks for. I didn't realize it was Coach Malarkey's birthday.
Yeah, nice, Brent. Hey, happy birthday! Come on our show and talk about this abysmal team.
We appreciate him coming. It's very interesting insight to how this stuff works, right? And he's been consistent on the Trevor front, which will be interesting to see if Trevor can get to that next phase where in Malarkey's words, both times we've had him on this season, he said, man, when you get the ball, you're going to score. And I think that's a fair thing right now is we don't know if when they get the ball back with 4 minutes to go, if they're going to score. Now, Matt Ryan didn't score every time, but the point was they felt like they were going to score. Yeah. Can you get to that point with your franchise quarterback? And I would say Doug would probably echo some of that as well.
Yeah.
And maybe that's some of the frustration sometimes still with Trevor getting him to this next level. I think the question we have is, can Doug and Press and everybody else get him to that next level? Or does somebody else have to come in, different voice, and be that? Or is it all on Trevor? I don't know. Hey, the UNF Ospreys, tough night last night. Went over there, watched. Good crowd, by the way, for a Monday night. They battled. They tried to claw back in, but it was a 14-0 run by UNC Asheville that did them in. I think Asheville's going to be a pretty decent team. Ospreys did not defend very well, so they lose at home. They'll be back home against Edward Waters University on Thursday at 7 o'clock. They are fun to watch. Now go check them out at UNF Arena. Welcome to Everbank Stadium. We call the stadium the bank. Here inside the Jaguars locker room, this is called the Vault. The Vault is a special place on game days. You can feel the energy and excitement as the Jaguars get ready to take the field. And Everbank has made a way for Jaguars fans to be a part of the action. Each home game, Everbank will select a winner and a guest to be a part of the Shadows. Be there up close and personal when the Jaguars leave the Vault to take the field. Not only that, the Vault Lounge provides a VIP pregame tailgate experience. High-end food, beverages, music, and more. Want a chance to be part of a VIP experience at a Jaguars game? Enter today at everbank.com/shadows, and you could find yourself in the shadows with the Jaguars.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Right now, save 10% off a new Rinnai tankless water heater. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. a full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back here to the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network studios. Brent Martineau along with Austen Lane. I'll join you from Fernandina Beach tomorrow on the road. I'm going to go use the bye week and get a day or two or more up there in Fernandina and go work from there.
Nice,
go
baby.
back and forth.
Little vacation with the missus, or just you? Okay,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
away.
you need some personal time yourself. I don't know.
She might. But yeah, so we're gonna try that. A little something different. So we still have we have Jaguars All Access Wednesday, probably Steal a Day Thursday, and then Friday night we've got the Friday Night Blitz. So we have plenty of things still happening. We'll be around all week. We still have content. The shows don't stop even with the bye week. In other words, but. Be in and out a little bit this week. You do wonder. Do you remember what you did as a player during the bye week? Did you just chill?
Yeah, just chilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing major.
Yeah, I got to believe these guys are just turning everything off.
Yeah.
And getting away. Although we know how these young guys are. They'll hop on a plane and like somebody be in Vegas or California
for real.
or wherever. Like
I think I may went back home to Wisconsin for 1 year.
Did you?
Like nothing major.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
The way these guys hop on planes for like 18 hours is amazing to me. Like it's
just for a night in Vegas, quick, then you hop back.
So you'll get some of that. You know what though? I would tell you this: if I'm a Jags player, if I get out of Dodge for a few days around this noise, it might not be a bad idea. Because they ain't talking about the Jags like everywhere else, right? Everybody's done with the Jags. The national shows aren't talking about them.
Well, they're talking about them in the worst ways.
Yeah, when they do. But I think like after yesterday, they're probably not. Everybody else's focus is everywhere else.
Sure.
The Dallas is an amazing story right now in the NFL. I mean, the Jets, again, there are other miserable situations. And I didn't see that. I guess Malarkey just said that Jerry Jones did come out and say, hey, you're the guy. Should Shad do that? I understand what he's saying. Because here's the thing, you stop the question being asked.
Well, but this goes back to the play calling, Brent. Like just just
say it. Transparency.
Yeah, just say it.
Right? Just be transparent.
Like I would rather have Shad Khan be transparent and hear something that we don't like so we can squash it, as opposed to having to come in here and analyze and break down why nothing's going on and why we haven't heard anything yet.
Well, and listen, while other people love the demise of other folks, especially when your football team isn't doing well, I don't necessarily think that's how ownership and companies work. I don't think Shad is rooting for this to not work, right? I don't think Shad is hoping that letting Doug spin in the wind a little bit is like, see, good. Like it's like vindictive thing. I don't believe in that. Now, it could be. I don't believe in that. So you could come out with a statement and be like, listen, this hasn't gone the way it's gone. We've lost some close games. We've lost some miserable games. It's embarrassing at times. These guys are signed up to do their job through the end of the year. We think we could still win some games. And we think it's in the best interest of the football team with a chance to win football games to keep these guys together at the moment, and then we'll reevaluate at the end of the season. Not that hard.
Sounds like another T-shirt.
Not that hard. Like, you can do that. And I'm not telling you need to write a statement every time something happens and you don't like it or the fans don't like it, but this is different. I mean, this is 2-9. This is 52-6. This is all this stuff. Like, Shad's not going to do a news conference. I get it. That's not the way he rolls this time of year, or a lot of times. But I think something like that, to Malarkey's point, from a business standpoint and for the players and for, like he said, people's families. Listen, we've known a lot of people's families in town that are coaches. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, my kids have gone to school with kids that are coaches. You know what I mean? We got that all over this town. This is a different town. This is not New York City, where probably every kid's like in a private school and they all go to the same place, whatever it might be. And I don't even know if that's how it works. I'm just kind of assuming. This is like, you see these people in the grocery stores and everywhere else. The noise is loud. Like, they're not bad people.
Yeah.
So from a protection standpoint of that, if you're the owner, do you come out and say, I could see that. I could see that. And much like we think Doug and Trent should be able to take some heat, Shad Khan once in a while has to take some heat as well and take ownership of this because they all bought in with this plan. Mm-hmm. As we said yesterday, they all bought in with this plan. This plan's not working. So I kind of like I wasn't thinking that way. Like I believe because I just don't think Shad does that usually. But when Malarkey said it, and he's been in this situation multiple times as an interim or as a head coach, I was like, you know what? Really, in this town too, that could go a long way. That's probably a good way to operate. And somebody at least speaks to the fans again. You know, that's my main message. Is somebody say something to the fans other than, I mean, Doug tried a little bit yesterday, but nobody wants to hear anything Doug's saying right now anyway. Right?
Yeah, no.
And right now you don't have Trevor Lawrence on the podium to save you. He's saved the organization many times on the podium before. Yeah. You can get people believing. You don't have that right now. Well, now you got Mac doing a lot of coach football speak stuff, and it's not bigger picture, and it's not his job to, by the way. I'm not criticizing Mac for that. But Trevor is so good in these spots where you almost feel like when he talks on a Wednesday that people are like, okay, I can buy that. I feel good about that. If he says Doug's okay, but he's not there saying that right now because he's been injured.
Well, that's sort of the rage that I brought to the show earlier on today. Brent really came from, it stemmed from, was when Doug Pederson was just like, that's not who we are. And I get, you're not 52-6 or whatever it was, but you're not far from that. I mean, do we have that soundbite, Hamby? I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, what do we have from Doug?
Well, we have his whole exchange with Mark Long, Melton Nielsen, and if he has stuff scheduled with Shad. You've already heard the play calling. Also, I thought his answer to Gabe Davis was really interesting, just how he went about answering that.
Yeah.
But he did on the what really made a lot of people upset, it was him saying that there was still some good stuff on tape.
Yeah, well, and by the way, he was answering a question. I mean, Mark asked him that. Mm-hmm. He said basically not to be a smartass, but is anything going well? And so he asked him.
By the way, Mark Long kind of bringing that game a little bit back.
Yeah. Mark ain't afraid to do it now.
Well, I mean, I've been waiting for it a little bit.
Yeah, I know. It's been taking so long.
Yeah.
But as we joked, when Mark says not to be a smartass, you know something's coming next.
Y'all want to hear that?
Before we get to that, let me just tell, we don't need the soundbite. I think people heard it. Right. And what you're talking about is when I asked him about the fans, Hamby, I asked your question.
Addressing the fans. Yeah.
And he said, listen, that's not who we are. These guys put in a lot of work, blah, 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 blah. What's he going to say to the fans? I guess I don't know what he could have said other than, listen, could he say simply, it's been bad. Like this has not gone the way we thought it was going to go. I'm not going to nitpick him for that. I think what he was trying to do in that instance is go back to defending the player. Mm-hmm. He's defending his guys. Like, listen, I'm talking to my guys here more than I'm talking to fans because I need them to play for 6 more games. And I'm going to have their back. He continues to do that, right? And I get that. I can even respect that when it comes to that part of it. But, I don't know where you were going with that. That's not who we are. But really, for the next 2 weeks, that is who you are, at the very least, until you get back on the football field again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my issue, because it's kind of been the synopsis, I feel like, of this entire year, where, this isn't who we are. This is not what we do. We don't know, what's going on. Like, it's just a lot of, once again, I feel like just kind of being in shock and not really having any answers of why things are transpiring like they're or else maybe you do know, you just don't want to talk about them.
Well, without throwing people under the bus, right?
I guess, yeah.
Where did you guys come down? Before we'll get to the Mark Long exchange in a minute. I think you started the show a little bit with this. Do you think he can save it? Like, what if they got rid of Balky and then started to build around the coaching staff a little bit more, like by redoing the front office and even inserting a guy like I don't think you can insert a guy like Baselli for the sake of what I suggested with Trent Baalke still there. I think you could insert a guy like Baselli with a guy like Pederson still there and hiring a GM. And I'm not advocating for this, all right? Don't start throwing tomatoes at me.
Get him.
I'm just saying, I think it's worth a question. I think they are going to win some games down the stretch. I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the NFL, bro. That's how it's supposed to look. Yeah, we get it.
But
So is the question really, are they a package deal 100%, or can one go and one stay?
yeah, what do we think about
But then, okay, so then how's that going to work? So then are we going to let Doug Pederson pick the next GM? So then
No, it would be like if you put a Tony Baselli or something like that. Could he pick the GM?
No. I mean, I think you need to, once again, Band-Aid, rip it, everything off and start anew. I don't want... Because we've seen this story how many times? We've seen a head coach get let go, GM stays, GM gets let go, head coach. Like, no, we're all set. Redo it, start it back from the studs, build it back up. And I hope you win some games. You're playing the Titans twice. You're playing the Raiders. You're playing a Jets team who's not that good. You're supposed to win.
Hamby, what do you think? Here's why I'm phrasing the question. If Bulky is the only one to go, does that satisfy the fan base that somebody changed? And is that enough?
Do you think it's enough, though? Because Bulky's not calling the plays right now, Brent. Bulky's not... He's not responsible for elevating talent on the field. Like, Bulky assembled the roster. Now, did you miss on Eric Armstead? Did you miss possibly on Gabe Davis? Did you miss on some of the draft picks? Absolutely. But we're the ones saying here, this roster looks pretty good. Free agency looks pretty good. And now what is it?
Yeah. No,
So, like, I'm not... Like, yeah, I get Bulky can be at fault for a lot of things as well, but he's not at fault for how this offense has looked.
No.
But sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off, Hamby. Go ahead.
No, listen, I'm not advocating for it, Hamby, either. I'm kind of seeing is it a scenario that stays in play? It is one, by the way, that Ian Rappaport and others have kind of suggested that is it going to be a clean sweep? Is it going to be a total reset? Is it going to be, could there be a saving of a job still? Oof. I mean, I think it's going to be a reset, Hamby, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
We don't know what Shad's going to do. I will take everybody back. Hamby, you weren't on the show around here. You were just a young lad probably playing some ball. But nobody in their right mind thought they were going to keep Gus another year. Nobody in their right mind thought they were going to keep Caldwell for 8 years. Nobody thought Marone and Caldwell were coming back that year. I mean, this is not the first time if Shad did something that nobody expected. Like,
no, I hear you. Like, the track record speaks for itself. If that's the case, then they keep Doug Pederson. I can't wait to have Coach Malarkey back on. So I want to get his thoughts then. Because if I'm Coach Malarkey, I'm like, huh?
Yeah, how do you survive?
Huh? 52-6? What? We're playing competitive against the Patriots, week 14. Huh? Yeah.
Actually, would you, if Hamby, I'm going to let you talk in a minute, sorry, but does this actually fall in line with more Malarkey? Like, if Malarkey was in the situation where you go 9-8, first winning seasons in 20 years, and then you fire us after we have one bad year, does that actually fit more what Malarkey got in Tennessee?
It's not a winning season.
I get it. I'm just saying.
So there you go.
Would you fall back on that? I don't know. Hamby, go now. Sorry.
Not advocating, but I'll play devil's advocate. There's a chance that Shad sees 2 winning seasons, 9-8, and sees that Doug is, regardless of, he somehow is able to ignore the last 2 months and especially last Sunday and see that Doug is still one of only 7 active head coaches that have won a Super Bowl. I'm hold on.
No, you good? I'm trying to keep my cool. Sorry, Hamby.
I saw it.
I think, Hamby, you're in the other room, dude. Don't be scared. I'm right across from him. He's like a bull right now.
Turn the mic off. Just turn the mic. I'll put it over here. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
He's one of 7. Yep. One of 7 head coaches, active head coaches with a Super Bowl ring. He went 9-8. And I think he's able to, that Doug is able to show Shad, look, this is what we've done. It's a possibility that he says, if you give me better players, then I can do this again for you. Look at my track record and all these things. I don't claim to have any idea of if there's any rift between Bulky and Pederson, but there is some part of me that could easily imagine that both of them individually are fighting for their jobs in very different ways. in a sense that, and it's not together, and obviously because of that, there has to be one pointing at the other because that's the whole argument.
Well, and here's the reason I say it. Okay, just go back. I'm like promoting my article left and right. But the reason why I'm promoting it, because I believe it, all right? And I believe this is a real thing. I told someone today, it's like, you know what, I hesitated to even put this thing out there, but I believe this. Like, I genuinely think this could, they're not asking me, right? But I think I have a lot of view from a different perspective than they do inside the building for the last 16 years. And we've seen a lot of different renditions. And there's one side of this that says, Shad, you can't just keep trying to put somebody with somebody else. This was an arranged marriage. You kept Bulky, you got Pederson. And I don't even think it's as bad as it would be in a lot of places across the league. I do not. They're probably butting heads a little bit now, and their blame game's going on. But it's been pretty good. They've done a good job. And I think that's probably a credit to both guys, but I give a lot of credit to Doug on that because he's the heavy. He comes in with the Lombardi, and he could have probably pushed him around or tried to take power. I give him a lot of credit for that, at least from what I know. But you can't just keep trying to say, okay, we'll plug this in, and we'll plug this in. No, like just start over. The one thing in 13 you did is you started over. You had a plan. You put together a 4-year plan, all this stuff. It's time to stop being so jaded. That's what I would say. But I also think you could argue that some of the problems that I did put in that article, some of that alignment, some of that messaging, some of the transparency, although Doug has failed in that this year wildly, comes from the top and where Trent Baalke has a lot of control over that. He creates some of that inside the building, right? And he's not a warm and fuzzy guy. I don't think he's a terrible human being, like the fan base wants to make him. I think he's just not a warm and fuzzy guy. And so the relationships and everything that you get inside, that doesn't happen in there. He's a football dude. He wants to watch tape. He wants to go to practice. He wants to be at games. He wants to scout 18 hours a day. Like, that's what he does. That's admirable to one end, but I think this building needs more than that from that guy. They need more than that from their leaders in that building. They need a nice, cohesive relationship across. They need a relationship and understanding with the fan base. They need relationships in and out of the building. This is a different market. You can't just be like, football, football, football. No, you can't do that here. I think that was a little bit of a Coughlin problem. He had plenty of relationships. But when it's football, man, it's all football all the time. You go sell tickets, you go do your thing, whatever. And nobody else walked these halls. Like there was that with Coughlin. I don't think that was the right approach in this town at this time. You need this thing to come together. And I think Doug actually can help you do that better than a guy like Trent can, because it's just not his nature. Mm-hmm. I think Doug, he ain't a problem in that, but he could be way better at that too. Somebody's got to talk to Doug that he needs better relationships in and out of the building. He needs better relationships. He needs with the fans. He needs to get out to more events in this town. He needs transparency with everybody. So he could be, but I think he could also be coached up on that, if you know what I mean. I think he could do that if you told him to do that.
One last thought real quick.
So that's why I think they could do that if they win football games down the stretch. You could find a way to make that happen. I'm not advocating for it.
If you would ask this question before the beginning of the season and said, if the Jags somehow are 2-9 and Baalke is fired, would that satisfy you? I guarantee you that the fan base would say yes. I guarantee it.
No.
I think so. I think a lot of this is the way that it's looked and the media stuff for the fans, that the fans are upset with how Doug has answered, how he's made teams look, the rumblings about Trevor, whether those are true or not. All of these are optics things that I think if it was just on paper, the Jags are 2-9 after week 11, right? If one person's got to go, would you be satisfied? If it was Baalke, I think the fans would say yes. Now I think the overwhelming majority would say no.
I think you're out of your mind. Because if they're 2-9, I'm going to ask the question, okay, well then Trevor got hurt for the whole season. They lost ETN for the whole season, and you tell me no. Then I'm like, okay, well then if they're 2-9, what does this look like? Why are they 2-9? Like, where did it go wrong? And then I look at the offense, and I look at the stats and the analytics and just how stagnant the offense is, how bad the defense is. No, like Baalke's at fault for a lot of things, but the performance on the field, because let's be honest, I think we had more hype for this roster than we even did of the play calling this year, or like what the coaching is going to be like.
Right,
we had more hype because Eric Armstead's coming, Gabe Davis, like this looks pretty. It looks like a great roster. At least I don't want to say great, but it looks like a really good roster. Now, is the roster, did we maybe over embellish it a little bit in the preseason? Probably.
Obviously.
But obviously that roster that we thought in the preseason would have at least got us to fighting for a divisional title. And we're not even close to it. So then it comes down to coaching for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong. Listen, none of us are sitting here and saying that it should be the way. I'm just trying to figure out. Again, there was a Rappaport report on that. I also think, and I'm going to continue to tell you, since they didn't make a move, I believe if Trevor comes back, they're going to win football games, and I know they should. But I'm just telling you that could change the sentiment a little bit, or the feeling a little bit, depending on how many they win. That and what it looks like in the last 6 games. If they finally figure it out and look like a normal football team. Which who knows if they will. It is wild to what you said, Hamby, though, and I know what you're trying to say. Basically, when this stuff happens, you have 2 punching bags. Well, really, you have 3. Shad Khan, Trent Baalke, Doug Pederson. 3 punching bags. And for the longest time, Shad, you take them away because you can't do anything about it anyway, even if you think you should. And like that's my favorite thing is it's all the owner. It's all the owner. It's like, what are you going to do? You got to fire the owner? Like, It's not even worth having a conversation about. And by the way, I'll say the owner does a lot of good things sets these guys up. Money's never a problem. Right. Facilities, like there's a lot of things to say positive about Shad Khan outside of the 12-year-old record and other things, right? Mm-hmm. So put that to the side. So the 2 punching bags are Trent Baalke and Doug Pederson. The wildest thing around here is that Trent Baalke has been the biggest of punching bags for this fan base. And to your point, Hamby, I believe now that has gone to Doug Pederson. And that's what you're trying to say. Right. And I mean, that race wasn't even close.
No.
For nobody could fathom that the fan base would be more at war with Doug Pederson than Trent Baalke, given this situation. But that's kind of the way it is right now. And I'm not telling you that they're protecting Trent Baalke. Yeah. It's just that other people have said this too. Doug's out there every day. Doug's talking every day. Like, that's just kind of natural to this point that so much of it has shifted to Doug and some of the things, the way he's handled it or not handled well. All right, we're way late on break. So what do you got, Hamby?
Real quick, because we keep mentioning the article. I come in this morning, and Action News Jax legend Phil Amato immediately't over to me. Hey, I was reading Brent's article. I thought it was great. But I thought, before I got to the end, when he talks about Baselli as a potential EVP or EVP options, for some reason, as I was reading it, I thought that maybe he was going to suggest that he be the EVP.
So with that being said, in conclusion, I, Brent Martineau, have nominated myself for EVP.
I just want to let you know that I have accepted the position.
Yes, there you go.
Guys, the show is over. No, actually, in this position, I'll still do a show.
I am asking for your support.
I thought that was so fun.
I'm asking for your endorsement.
That's awesome.
Brent, do you have any endorsers? Can Coach Malarkey can endorse you? Who else you got?
Maybe. I don't think.
You got Belichick? Covered in New England a little bit?
I did. I don't know if I go there. Malarkey, I'm not sure. Gus, I could probably get.
You got
maybe Caldwell a little. I'm not sure how much that will carry weight. But Malarkey, I can guarantee you this. Malarkey's kind enough to join us. There's no way in hell he wants Brent Martineau in that building. Man, that's awesome. Phil Amato, I wish he tweeted that. Let's see if we can get that rolling a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go, man.
So now the next shirt, we've got shirts for days around here.
So many
So
shirts.
now I'm just going to put like the political hat on, picture of me, and I'm running for office.
Brent for EVP.
EVP.
Do you get any little kickback if you get like a lot of views on the website?
No.
No? You get like advertising something?
No.
Really?
No.
Should make a stipulation. Yeah, you kind of
probably should.
You dropped the ball on that one, didn't you?
I need a better agent.
You need a better agent, man. Yep.
All right, we're way late on commercials. We're going to get to one here. Brent Austen Show on a Tuesday. I want to get some college football stuff because we didn't really go there yesterday, and also maybe a little bigger picture on the NFL and what's going on. And are we trending toward a Lions-Bills? Lions-Chiefs? How do you feel if you had to call it today with 6 weeks to go?
Don't sleep on those Eagles, Brent.
Season.
Come on now.
You just want to be right. I get it.
Obviously.
You don't get anything for that
Story
either.
of my life. That's a good point. Yeah.
We'll be right back. In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, we'll welcome you back here to the Brent Austen Show here on a Tuesday of the bye week. Still no changes for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we continue to monitor that, and don't think we're going to see it anytime soon. But you never know. You just never know. Hey, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Right now, you got to call it. If I had a chance to reset this, you have the Eagles and Chiefs.
Yes.
Would you stay with that right now? Out of bravado, or would you seriously move to the Lions?
I mean, I think you kind of have to move the Lions, right? But for the sake of my bravado, I'm going the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Do you seriously? You have that much faith in the Eagles? Like they are playing.
I have that much faith in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he's playing really good,
especially if it's cold weather.
Big thing is they got to keep him healthy.
Of course,
right?
Yeah,
because he's had injury history. It's like, can he make it through the year? And so far, it looks like he's been tremendous.
Yeah,
tremendous. And I said this last week. This was coming off the Eagles game, so maybe it was a couple weeks ago. It's like, thank you, Giants, for letting us see how good this guy is.
Yeah.
And because you can get stuck as a player. And that's what we're a little like, hey, Brian Thomas Jr., don't get stuck in this rut. Get him the damn football. If you don't get anybody else the football, get him the football. Let's have a really good rookie year, which he is. What's he up, about 700 yards now with 6 games to go? Yeah. Really good. So that's a big part of this last 6 weeks. Do not let that guy go stale over the last half of the year because you can't get him the football and your offense is broken. Find a way to get him the football. Well, Saquon Barkley, he could have been just kind of left out of this kind of season if you're in New York because things aren't right. Yeah. Sure, he could have helped New York a little bit too, but it's the one nice thing about seeing him go to a place like this is look at him, right? Look what Derrick Henry's got left. Look what Saquon Barkley's doing. The Eagles are good. And the thing about the NFC is they've got a lot of decent teams, Austin, but they don't really have a lot of high-level teams. Like the Packers are tough to buy into. Minnesota, I'm not buying that they're going to win a Super Bowl.
No, but they're 8-2 as well.
The South.
Minnesota's 8-2.
I know. They do win games.
They win games. They have a pretty damn good defense.
But I'll tell you like this. If Minnesota played right now against San Francisco in a playoff game, who would you pick?
Minnesota.
You would?
Yeah. I don't think. Well, San Francisco just got beat by the Seahawks, man. Like I think San Fran's kind of. It's crazy. A little overrated though.
Yeah, they are who they are right now.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of their games. What is going on with them?
Well, injuries are a big thing with them, obviously.
Yeah. They seem like they always have injuries.
Yeah. And Purdy, I mean,
has he just not been good?
I mean, I haven't watched a lot of the San Fran games either, but like if you look at Purdy's stats, it's not good.
Hamby, who are you taking in the Super Bowl right now?
Give me the Lions and the Bills.
Yeah.
I think, look, it seems like the Bills and Chiefs will go back and forth, and the Chiefs will probably make everybody eat their words once again because we shouldn't ever say anything but the answer should always be the Chiefs until
it's so proven wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But look, to just say that is like to kind of take away any fandom and sense of what your eyes say when you watch.
Yeah, I'm trying to be outside the box here, but almost to your bravado, I'm trying too hard to be outside the box here.
Whoa.
Right? Like
outside the box to be the Steelers.
Yeah, you can't
but
do it.
You can't. I know. Like Russell Wilson.
To be honest with you, outside the box to me right now, given the way their defense has played in their latest loss and their inability to play well in postseason all the time, is Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore to me is as dangerous as a team as there is in the league. If they at least figure out their defense, they are. And you talk about cold weather and all that stuff. They got the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I could pick Baltimore still right now and be comfortable with that. The only problem is they are going to have to go on the road most likely, right, and go to some places and not going to have that home field. That didn't help last year, though. So and I do have this little thing about Lamar Jackson in the postseason. For some reason, he hasn't been able to get it done. And is that a trend? But I don't mind taking him. Like I just to be different, I could go Baltimore. The problem is I'd like to be different in the NFC, and I can't go anywhere. I'm not picking Minnesota. I think they've had a nice. This has come together very nice. I don't think they're like crazy good. But I mean, the Lions look like they're crazy good.
No, the Lions are crazy good. Like, yeah, I think the obvious answer is the Lions. But like, do you think Minnesota's better than the Eagles?
I really don't.
No,
I don't. But I don't. I know I think they can be outcoached.
Of course, that's
like
something
the
to do
Eagles
with
can
it.
be outcoached, and that's a problem later in
something to
that
do
game.
with
Later in the year.
I mean, do you have Minnesota over the Commanders?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not buying a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I think they've peaked.
Okay. It's wild that the parity right now between the NFC South and the NFC West.
Yeah, can Atlanta make a run out of can they get hot? Like, they haven't played great football, and they're winning football. I hate that, by the way. I can't stand teams that don't play great football and still win.
I don't think Atlanta can make a run. I don't.
They're not in that class.
No, they always play 50-50 ball. That's what Atlanta is, no matter who their quarterback is.
It's kind of what Kirk Cousins is.
Yeah.
Too, right? I mean, seriously, Cousins is a guy that will do a lot of good, but also not really win the big ones. For whatever reason, that's who he is. And listen, Stafford was that way for a long time with the Lions.
Yeah.
And he was able to overcome that in L.A., and so you can be better around him. I can't buy the Falcons to that degree.
I thought the Rams were like the buy now team until I saw them play against Miami. Then it's like, I don't know. Because when Puka and Cooper Kupp both came back and they beat the Vikings, I'm like, okay, we've seen this story before. Like, they're about to go on a run. And then they beat the Seahawks, which I've said this many times on the show, and I still stand by this, is the most no idea.
Weird.
Are you good at defense? Are you an offensive? Nope. They don't even know, Brent.
Yeah, weird.
It'd be fun covering the Seahawks right now. It'd be fun. Because every single day I would come in here, I wouldn't be angry. I'd just be like, I have no idea. I don't know. You guys tell me in the stream. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't know who they are.
They don't know who they are, but they just beat San Fran. So,
is there any chance with the way? What about Denver or the Chargers? Denver's defense is really good. The Chargers' defense is even better. And Chargers have Herbert. And they're riding high and having fun. Like, I don't think Denver can do that with a rookie quarterback. He's playing good ball. But I don't think they're going to be that. But the Chargers could.
Yes, I don't buy into Denver, but I do buy into LA. Yeah. And it's crazy because they're not a sexy team to watch. Like, very methodical, run the football. Okay, there's a pass every once in a while, but it's Jim Harbaugh, man. He's getting the job done so far.
Good January team. That sounds like January football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They built to win in the postseason. So all of a sudden, look, which is wild. For the first part of our frustration with the Jags, when they got to an 0-4 start and even beyond 1-5, when we were like, okay, there's still a little hope here, right? There's still a hope. Well, part of our frustration was the AFC sucks. Like, everybody's muddied up, and like, at that time, if you had 3 wins, you were in like the 6 hole in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. 6 games into the season. Well, it actually has kind of changed now. The Bills look good. The Ravens we know are good. The Steelers look good. The Chiefs we know are good. The Chargers look good. And Denver's sneaky. And honestly, after all those teams come Houston for me. Houston comes past all those teams for me. And am I just biased because I hate them?
I mean, so you're taking Denver over Houston?
Right now, I feel like it.
Yeah, I can't go with you.
You're not doing that one?
Not with Nico Collins.
Everybody else?
Not with Nico Collins.
Yeah, everybody else.
Hang on. So say those teams again, Brent. I'm sorry.
So you got the Bills?
Yeah, over
the Steelers?
Houston. Yeah, over Houston.
Got the Ravens?
Yep.
Yeah, over Houston.
Got the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm. Of course, over Houston.
Got the Chargers?
Yes.
I can't take Houston. I'm sorry, I can't take the Chargers over Houston. I think Houston's a better team.
And by the way, that's fine.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I think the same record. 1-7-3, 1-7.
Somebody says Miami Dolphins going to win out. I haven't looked at their schedule, but the Miami Dolphins ain't winning the playoffs.
I don't think so.
I don't buy it. I mean, you're going to have to sell me a lot more to get me believing on the Dolphins in the playoffs. But I will tell you this, they've come back and now, I mean, what a difference Tua has made. It's unbelievable why they are so much better with him. And they paid him. And he's earned it. Now, listen, it looks like the Jags are a lot better with Trevor, too, right?
Well, I was going to say, has your opinion on the backup quarterback changed now with
really
Miami,
has.
with Mac Jones? Yeah, mine too.
Hosting the Patriots, playing away at the Packers. Yeah, right.
How many backup quarterbacks are actually good in this league, do you think?
I've been disappointed at that. Cooper Rush looks so awkward to me.
Diddly.
And he's played a lot. He's played a lot of football. Mac looks bad.
Yeah.
Mac has looked bad.
Yeah.
Dolphins couldn't function.
Jameis.
No.
Jameis can do some things.
Well, but
it's still not
he's still going to have a 4-pick game here.
Yeah. So it's weird. I thought the backup quarterback would be so much better. But, man, the gap is still huge
Best one
between
in
the
the
starter
league.
and the backup.
Best one in the league has been the Malik Willis.
Well, really, Justin Fields. But
Fields.
But Malik Willis actually has come up pretty big.
Didn't Andy Dalton win a game or not?
I think he did before he went back to being Andy Dalton.
Yeah. Joe Flacco.
They couldn't figure it out in New Orleans with Derek Carr out, right?
Yeah.
So nobody can do. Yeah, Flacco for a minute. But yeah, it's pretty wild to see that the NFC now, where we thought they might have some elite teams because of San Francisco, Philadelphia, who knew what Dallas would be, the Lions, the Packers. But they really don't feel elite over there. They feel like, you're right, it's the Eagles to me and the Lions by
Listen,
a
Green Bay
margin.
should have got beat by Chicago.
Yeah,
They got lucky.
Green Bay is just, I think, okay.
Yeah. I mean, but playoff time, they can. I don't know.
Good enough to win.
Sure.
Good enough to win, but not penciling them in as a Super Bowl team. I mean, it's the NFL, man. I mean, you could get the Packers and the Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We'll put some money on that right now. If that thing came in, that'd be pretty hell of a win. But you could get that. I mean, why not? You could. So I think the Lions look like the most dominant team in the league. It's safe to say.
Yes.
And I just don't know. I don't feel like they're going to dominate the rest of the year either. That's not the way the league usually works. But maybe they will. They've been in a groove. I thought when they thumped the Cowboys, I was like, oh, they might have hit a peak here. And they might have
got a little cocky.
Karma got a little cocky. I was wrong. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They just keep being cocky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just keep doing stuff. They really are clicking. So anyway, it's interesting. I think it's pretty wide open. It's going to be a fun playoff. Unfortunately, I don't want to watch any football right now. I actually shut the game off yesterday. And I said this to Steph. I was like, I don't want to watch other teams win. I don't, especially Houston.
Don't watch Houston.
But I'm just like, and like, I'm not like fanboy that much. Like, obviously, I'd love the Jags to do well so we can have fun with it and you can have fun with it and everybody can have fun with it in the city. But this season, I'm so fed up with the fact that other people are having fun and we're not.
I hear you. I'm fed up with the fact
I'm really like the kid left out at recess right now.
No, I hear you.
And just lock me in a closet.
What like really what gets me is that I see a team like Houston who they had the same bad optics as the Jaguars did. You had J.J. Watt, Captain America, Mr. Wholesome, want to leave your organization because it was such a dumpster fire. And you turn it around in a year with a new head coach and a quarterback. Like, that's what drives me crazy is the fact that, and it's like Houston's probably going to win the division. It drives me crazy how in Jacksonville, like, it's not supposed to be like this. Like, you're not supposed to be down this long. You're not supposed to keep going through, coach after coach. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be. And, like, Detroit's another example, Brent. Like, Detroit, they were the Lions. They were the laughingstock for how long? Only team to never win a football game in an NFL season. And you bring in a guy in Dan Campbell who, and I agree with you here, I thought he was like, wow, this could combust.
Yeah.
Because the opening press conference or biting kneecaps and all this stuff, I'm like, wow, this is, never really heard this before. This could either go really good or really bad. And I was almost on the side of like, this might not be good. Well, look, it's great. It's fantastic. It's what that city needed. And now like they're having their taste of glory. The Jaguars had 2017, sprinkle on 2022. That's about it.
And I said this to somebody else, guys, and I know you're not going to want to believe it, and it shouldn't be this bad, but those 2 years are better than probably half the league has had over the last 7 years. Like, even just to have that taste of success, you can rattle off half the league that hasn't even had that over the last 7 years. So the problem is you have this kind of expectation in this bad year. In 18, that kind of expectation, that bad year. Number one overall pick. I mean, the depths of this football team, the highs and lows of this football franchise in the last 7 years are remarkable. I mean, it is remarkable what we're talking about. I mean, you got to go to the Grand Canyon to be able to figure out some of this stuff and parallel it. So
what I would do to be
wild.
4-7 right now.
Oh my gosh, 4-7 would feel like you got a chance over these last 6. Like that's
you got hope.
That's the point. Like Austin's making the point. We're all making the point. It's like we're not even asking you to be 7-4.
Just give us a glimmer of hope.
Like it's November 18th
And we're done.
19th. It's amazing. By the way, final table at the $1 million guarantee at Best Bet.
Let's go.
Today, 2
Brent,
o'clock.
Buy me in there. Let's go.
I can't buy in now.
Yeah, buy me in. I'm sure they'll accept a nice charitable donation.
Best Bet Live. You can watch the final table. I might check that out today at 2 o'clock.
I like it.
With the $1 million guarantee. You brought up Mac Jones, backup quarterbacks, guys. I was a believer in Mac. I thought he'd come in and actually play pretty decent football. I like the signing. I believed in Mac more. I believe the New England Patriots screwed him up.
Yeah.
More than Mac kind of screwed up. And you got your own place in it, right? It's like saying Trevor. Trevor is not perfect, man. Trevor has, some of this is on Trevor, but there's a lot of other things, right? So I felt that way about Mac coming in. I didn't see him playing this poorly. He just now has played good football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even feel good about like saying I told you so, because like the way that it's looked, I'm just like, what is this? Honestly, like it's yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed in it. I thought, like, I'm not gonna like. I understand you're playing the Lions, and yeah, one of the best teams in the NFL. I thought their defense, especially in the secondary, you could exploit some things. So I thought, like, okay, this is the game where, you know, no one's counting on the Jaguars. Mac Jones shows up, he makes some money, and maybe he gets opportunity someplace else next season. Like, that's what I thought the storyline was going to be, because the storyline usually goes like that. But no, you threw out the script, you kind of did your own thing, and yeah, unfortunately, Mac's not the answer, and I don't think he's done himself any favors to try to get a starting job later on in the NFL. Like,
No, he's pretty much.
Yeah, but he can't now. I don't think he can.
There's no way that a team who watched those last 2 games could offer him a chance to compete for their starting position.
No. But as a backup, he'll find
he'll be a backup. He'll have a long career in the NFL.
Yeah.
He'll still get another couple of these chances, and I guess maybe he'll have a chance to come in and play. Listen, I believe the offense looks broken anyway. Before Mac got in there, they had 31 yards in the first half against the Eagles. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was expansion level bad. Let's not forget that was with Trevor. Mm-hmm. Now, they got some breaks in that game. They started getting some yards. They still were not, like, very good offensively in that football game. So this started with Trevor, healthy Trevor in the first half, injured Trevor in the second half, and now these 2 weeks where an offense has been broken, which has again gone back to Doug and press and everything else, bigger than the quarterback alone. But also, Mac's playing with like, all right, what the hell do you have to lose? You're 2-8. You're getting these 2 starts, maybe the most. Like, you might not play again.
Let it rip.
Let it rip. Threw it like out of bounds on 4 consecutive plays or something. It was like, what is this? Who cares if you throw a pick? And then the pick was bad. I don't usually, in real time, I'm not usually able to say, okay, was that on the receiver? Was that on the play call? Was that on the quarterback? Because I think there's a lot that goes into it. The way we are watching in Detroit, you're so high up. I mean, you're almost like over the play, it feels like. Really? Yeah. It's actually pretty cool. And Farrell was open for like what felt like to me 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Right? So just to give you an idea, it wasn't open for 5 minutes, but he was open. And Mac was still rolling, but it's like he waited and it was like, throw it. Like, I'm actually saying, I'm not throw it.
Yeah.
And fair enough for me not being chased by 300-pound men, right? To be able to say it from up in a press box. But I do think like that was one where you got to know he's open. Throw it now. He waited all the way until he had reached the sideline to throw it. And then Joseph comes over and makes a nice play, but he made it easier on him.
Do you think if Trevor doesn't come back for whatever reason after the bye week, do they go Beathard, or do you keep on rolling Mac Jones?
I think they'll keep rolling Mac out for now.
Okay.
I don't think I don't think it's preposterous to think that Beathard wouldn't come in and play. He knows the offense. I think some of this is, I believe I might have said this yesterday, but he's earned at least the opportunity with the players. He's been in the trenches with them, right? He's been in the room. He's been all that. It feels like Mac's earned a few starts. And again, Mac has not been good, but this offense hasn't been good. ETN hasn't been good. Press hasn't been good. Doug hasn't been good. Like, nobody's been good. So if that's the case, it's hard to put it just on Mac. I would give him another start against Houston. And then I would, if Trevor's not playing the rest of the year, I'd start to think about, maybe putting Beathard in to give your offense a shot. Again, grow Brian Thomas Jr. Evan Ingram. I mean, he's had a heck of a career here in Jacksonville. These numbers are important. Those things are important to these guys. You got to be able to function. You can't be a non-functioning offense for the next 6 weeks. Like, that is not cool. So whoever's going to help you do that, I don't care who it is. Just please don't run the Wildcat again with 13 seconds to go in the first half. But they need to go that direction whenever that, if that's the case, right? Yeah. If Trevor isn't going to play again. And now you start to, I'll tell you this, I start to wonder if Mac Jones comes back. Likes it in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Likes hanging around here. Backup quarterback. He's going to be a backup quarterback somewhere. So now where's Beathard better off? I don't know. Remember, we could have a new coach, new offense, new system, all that.
I mean, and once again, I get it's a backup quarterback position, so it is what it is. But, like, would you feel comfortable with him coming back? Like, let's say there's a new regime that comes in. Would they invite him back?
Yeah, probably. I doubt it right now based on these two games.
Well,
but that's what I would ask. Was like, who's better?
Yeah.
I thought you had more to pick from. I thought there would be a handful of 8 teams that would be pretty good in the backup spot. That ain't the case. Do I think that Mac could have done better in the interim than Skylar Thompson or whoever the hell they were rolling out in Miami? Yes. I still think that way. But I also don't have a lot to stand on right now, the way he's played the last couple of games.
You going to apologize to Joe Flacco?
Well, I mean, I was kind of right on Joe, too. I mean, 40. He started to look 80.
Numbers are the numbers, though, Brent.
But he is better. Is he the best backup in the league? I mean, Fields right now, again, has done some things.
But he's not see, I don't think Fields is a backup. Like,
yeah, I don't
I understand, like, he's the backup role because Russell Wilson was out, but he was the starter to start things off.
Yeah, you're right.
By the same effect, you could argue Drake May, but he's not a backup quarterback.
No. So, but is Jacoby Brissett, like, Malik Willis, I'm picking Joe Flacco over Malik Willis. I'm picking almost anybody over Malik Willis.
Yes,
okay?
correct.
So, is Joe...
Same running ability and everything, though.
Don't laugh. I did. It's hard. You got to laugh. Sometimes
you have to laugh because the truth is too painful. So you got to laugh it off. I feel like the Joker this season.
But why didn't they play, like, is Trey Lance that bad at football that they couldn't play him yesterday?
He's got to be bad, Brent.
They played him last week.
They did, like, in the final series or something, a couple series at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think he's that bad, which is crazy.
Is there a good backup quarterback in the league? Seriously. Like, I don't even know who some of the backups are. Like, in Chargers, I have no idea.
Who does Chase Daniel play for?
He's like doing a podcast
I don't know, I'm kidding.
Whatever happened to Browning? Maybe he's still good.
He is there. He's still in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd take him
Taylor
right now.
Heineke? Teddy Bridgewater's a free agent. Is Teddy Bridgewater a free agent?
I think he retired.
He's coaching football in Miami, I think.
Okay.
Some high school team.
I'm looking up just backup quarterback.
Yeah, Heineke.
Yeah, but he didn't do that well. I mean,
who's backing up Jaden Daniels now?
Commander Mariota.
Oh, Mariota. Yeah, but that's what you got.
Hey, you know who's a good backup quarterback? Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he is. He's the best one.
Pretty damn good backup quarterback. Go on, unless they plan on sitting McCarthy, but I feel like McCarthy might have been the starter.
Yeah, but you see McCarthy, they announced like a couple weeks ago he's had second surgery on his knee.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that, would keep Darnold around. Anyway.
Sam Howell.
Yeah, those are all they're all the same guy. Honestly, I don't think C.J. Beathard's a bad backup.
Carson Wentz in Kansas City. Dobbs in San Francisco.
Yeah, he's good. He can come in and play a game or two. You know that.
Yep.
So
Garoppolo's with the Rams.
Garoppolo's with the Rams.
Jimmy G.
I still think Jimmy G could get something done in a couple of game sample. Like, I would take that.
I think so.
But, I mean, we're splitting hairs here.
I know.
Right?
I know, man.
It's not worth dumping a guy to go get somebody else.
It's not like, you're actively going to get a guy. But now we're to the point in Jacksonville where you go get a young guy, though. Right? So, like, you go draft a 6th-rounder or a 5th-rounder, and you now – listen, remember, as crazy as that might sound because you got your guy, and you're, waste a pick. Well, first of all, we got so many damn picks around here. Who cares?
DJU?
And secondly, the Patriots, they use second-round picks like multiple times. Garoppolo, Mallett, probably some other pick, even with Brady there.
Forgot about Mallett, yeah.
So this might be the year where you take a quarterback and start just to at least have a young guy in the room, and Trevor can handle that, right? I would think. He doesn't need a veteran guy around him. But the other part of that is you And it's not to create a controversy or anything else. You know who the guy is. But you will need the backup quarterback sometime.
Yeah.
Like what the league is telling us is almost every year you're going to need the backup quarterback for at least a couple of games. And if Trevor does miss the rest of the season, we're going to magnify that. Mm-hmm. We're going to say you need him way more than a couple of games because the trend recently would be him missing a bunch of football or at least being banged up for a bunch of football in the last year and a half. So, yeah, fascinating off-season topic. Yeah. Who the Jags and which route they go. Veteran guy, young guy, more expensive guy, cheap guy. Keep a Mac, keep a C.J. Beathard. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Let's take a time out. Brent Austen Show here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. We'll get some college football talk. The Gators have momentum. We never talk about the Florida Gators, but they do have momentum. And what did the last week of college football tell us about what's to come? Bracket gets fantastic and fascinating here late in November as we head into this first 12-team college football playoff. Donato's Pizza, Donatos.com, 20% off your order around this lunchtime or each and every day, by the way. It doesn't matter what time. Just use code Brent20. Jax Beach and Mandarin locations, Donato's Pizza, Donatos.com. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade.
The vibes will stay high on the campus of the University of North Florida this week as that PK match winner from Joaquin Acuna sealed the Ospreys ASUN Tournament Championship crown, their second tournament title in school history and the first since 2015. However, the ride will not end there for the Ospreys as they now await an NCAA championship tournament bid, which they will find out later this week. And as one ASUN championship bid ends in success, another will get started this week for the Ospreys, this time in volleyball. The UNF women's volleyball team secured the 6th seed in their 11th straight ASUN tournament bid, and they will now travel to Fort Myers to face 3rd-seeded Central Arkansas on Thursday. And remember, you can find schedules, results, tickets, and more at UNFOspreys.com.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
New to town or always been in town? Everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're gonna love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations, Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Man, we were like 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
On social media. No wonder why this crap works.
Yep.
Just laughing at AI.
AI making coaches to female. Yeah. Yep.
That's such a freaking middle school lunch table.
It really
It is, man. It's
the previous
throwback to that.
The commercial started with the commercial break started with Austin showing me like Barstool's
power rankings
of coaches and the descriptions.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? The Rizzy one for New Orleans was clogs toilets and wins. The one for McCarthy is clogs toilets and loses.
And then the Jaguars were the obviously bottom after last week.
FCS team.
FCS program. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You have to laugh, Brent. You have to laugh.
Yeah, you do.
You know.
Brent Martineau Austen Lane and Jason Hamby back here on a Tuesday edition of the Brent and Austen Show. And obviously a lot of Jags talk. Get some college football here in just a moment. Want to let you know about Jags Pal, JagsPal.org. Brent and Austen Show and Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network have partnered up with Jags Pal, and you can check out more about what they do. You can donate to the cause and find different programs throughout the area. All you have to do is go to JagsPal.org, the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. College football, what a weekend it was. You got your playoff game between your Dogs and the Vols, and Carson Beck is back.
There we go.
Speaking of quarterbacks and local guys. Oh, he left. That was a big performance by Beck, though, and obviously Georgia to do what they did at home. I don't think it's much of a surprise that they won the football game, but pretty resounding effort. And finally get some good confidence with Beck because, quite frankly, he hadn't been playing with some.
I mean, he threw for 350 yards, and there was at least 2 deep balls that were dropped that he put right on the money. It's not and this thing, it continues to be not the Georgia offense that people necessarily expect because we only run the football for 100 yards, right? And that's continuing to be an issue. Obviously, only one healthy running back, but Beck did everything that everybody had said that he couldn't do anymore or that he was struggling to do. He also ran.
Yeah.
Right? The scramble was huge. Yeah. He had 3 for 35. Obviously not something that he has to do a lot, but all of those little things that he do, those are winning football plays, especially when they're converting on third down, and that's what I think evaluators love to see.
Who's going to win the national championship? You can't pick Georgia. Do you? Actually, I'll ask you that. Do you think Georgia's good enough to win the national championship? What you've seen?
They can. I wouldn't bet on them right now. But I don't think anybody should be betting on anybody.
Yeah,
true.
Because you're gonna have to
right?
You got to win three conference type championship type games in a sense, or maybe just 2. Because the first one I don't expect to be for the top 6 teams. I think we'll see maybe 1 upset, but that's pretty much it. That's my personal opinion. But you're gonna have to win 2 really hard fought games, and so any team can really do it. I think in the top 6. I think anybody outside the 6, I'll be shocked. But if you look at the top 6, I think it's anybody except for BYU and Indiana. And Penn State. Sorry.
So you don't think can Notre Dame win it all?
Absolutely not. No, you can't lose to Northern Illinois in your home field and win a national championship.
Yeah, it was like a year ago.
Yeah, that's true.
It's this season. It's this roster.
They're a different team now.
Yeah, that's a bad way to explain that. I mean, that's a really bad way to explain that.
Get him, Brent.
Like
it's their home field, bro.
That doesn't matter. Like, I mean, it did matter, but it doesn't matter right now. They're playing good football.
Yeah, they're playing good football, but who they beaten? They beat the service academies, who have shown that they got off to a great start and it was a great story and all that, but that's it.
Well, but I think the question to that is,
they beat A&M.
Okay, that was before. Hey, guess what? That was before the Northern Illinois game. So if you want to throw one out, you got to throw the other one out too.
Yeah, but I think it's fair to say, with the exception of a few, who's beaten anybody? Because who is anybody? Mm-hmm. Like, we don't know if anybody's good.
Well, we know Georgia's beat 2 top 10 teams. They beat Texas and Tennessee.
Don't tell me the top 10 teams, because top 10 teams, Florida State was the 10th team in the country to start the year.
Yeah, but we know now those are teams are top 10 right now.
I mean, how good is Tennessee?
I mean,
they lost to Arkansas. How good's Tennessee?
I mean, so then how do we know anything then? It's pretty much what you're saying?
That's my point. Like, just because, is every schedule weak? Is the SEC? You can't just hang your hat on the SEC because it's the SEC. SEC, they might only get like 3 teams in right now.
That's not true. That's no.
Is the Big Ten better than the SEC? Do
Absolutely
we know that?
Not. No, we're getting 4 teams in. I guarantee it.
How can you say you said it so quickly?
Oregon and Ohio State might be the 2 best teams in the country.
And by the way, Indiana's still undefeated too. But
Indiana has the 100th.
Just saying they're still undefeated.
I think you're telling me they haven't beaten anybody, but
have not.
You're trying to tell me everybody else has beaten somebody, and I don't even know who anybody is.
You know which teams are at least pretty good and good versus teams that are the definition of mid in college football. There's not this much gray area.
Okay,
I'm going with you that there's more than.
Is Vanderbilt good because they beat Alabama?
I mean, Vanderbilt is better than 8 out of the 10 teams that Indiana's played.
Who wins, Indiana or Vanderbilt?
I was going to ask that question.
Indiana would win that football game.
Okay, well.
Okay, but Indiana's not beating any of the SEC teams that are in the top 10. They're not beating Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, or Texas.
Okay, but Vanderbilt beat Alabama. So you're telling me Indiana can beat Alabama.
Yeah, but if we're looking at rankings.
That's how the playoffs work, though. Like, you just got to win that one game. Like,
listen, I'm not trying to wave the flag for Indiana. I'm just saying this is a year where everything is open. Like, I don't believe you that Notre Dame can't win a national championship.
What have you seen, though, with your eyes that have told you that they could?
Well, I mean, they're winning convincingly. They had a bad outing. They're winning convincingly.
Sure, but that they could win 3 football games in a row against good football teams. If you make the playoff, you're a good football team. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think you're a pretty good football
Brent.
team. Yeah. No, I think you're a pretty good football team.
You got to be able to say good, man. If it's a playoff, it's a playoff.
But Hamby, but then how are we making up excuses for Vanderbilt with Alabama? Guys, but then they beat Texas A&M, who's 15 right now.
Everybody wanted a 12-team playoff. If you can't even tell me that the top 12 teams that make the playoff are good, then what the heck do we just do?
No, we just have a down year. It's a down cycle in college football.
This is
no
the
dominant
first
teams.
year, though.
It's no dominant teams, man. Like, that's the way it is. There's
but
no
with
Alabama.
The merging of the conferences, no East-West.
Georgia's a shell of itself. All you can do is look at your team. Georgia's a shell of itself that's won 50-something games, and that's one of the best teams in the country. Alabama is not Alabama. They're one of the best teams in the country. Texas, how do we know if they're any good? They've played like nobody. I mean, LSU 2 weeks ago was on the verge of the playoff. They lost to Florida, got their ass kicked by Alabama at home.
Yeah, they hadn't played.
That's the way college football is this year. That's my point. Like, don't just sign up to say somebody's good because they're in the top whatever, or because they're in the SEC, or they're in the Big Ten, or their name's Indiana, or their name's BYU. Like, I don't think we know, which, by the way, is a good thing. I'm not knocking this. I think it's a fantastic thing that we're going to get. This feels actually in the first year of the NCAA, of the college football playoff, more like the NCAA tournament than we even thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
You could get a 7 seed winning the national title. It's one of those years, like a college basketball year where you'd get an 8, or a George Mason going to the Final Four. So I just don't think you can sit here and tell me, I mean, South Carolina might be able to beat any team in the country right now. They're ranked 21.
Hamby, so you don't think the conference with Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana
Is better than the SEC.
Is on the level of the SEC.
I believe it's definitely second.
Well, I would hope so.
I think it's
There's
close.
two of them.
It's close,
Really?
but I mean, obviously, I think you might be. We might be a lot closer to a super conference than we think. But that's besides the point. I don't believe Penn State. I think is still fraudulent. They played one team and they lost, and Indiana hadn't. I mean, we're going to find out.
Yeah, we do find out.
We'll
Guess
find
what?
out.
Hey, here's the question: if Indiana, which I don't think anybody's, but if Indiana beats Ohio State, is Ohio State in the playoff? The two teams that you've played, you've
Oregon
lost.
and Indiana.
Yeah, you haven't beaten anybody other than that.
I mean, you don't think USC was a good team because they beat LSU?
USC's terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, USC's not great. But again, I mean, this is the you can make the cases. I think if we really just didn't know about the SEC and we didn't know about the Big Ten and we didn't know what conferences these guys were in, and quite frankly, you can do that still because Texas and Oklahoma are in this conference, right? So if you didn't know that, Oregon's now in the Big Ten. Right, I even forget that still.
Oh,
even still forget that.
I don't even consider it. Yeah.
I mean, SMU is in the ACC.
Yeah.
I still in my mind have them as a Group of 5 team.
Yeah.
I have to be careful not to say it. I think I did
close,
say it
man.
a couple of weeks ago. How good are they? I don't know. I don't watch SMU like every week, right? I thought Clemson a couple of weeks ago was getting back into the thing and might be dangerous, and now they're really not. Right, so listen. It's good. It's a cool thing. I just don't know how anybody can hang their hat unequivocally and say this team's good. This team's like really, which is maybe the intent of why you shouldn't have 2 teams playing for a title just because of their rankings, or 4 teams. This is actually the perfect year to have the college football playoff because there are no 4 teams, quite frankly, that look like they deserve to be separated from everybody else and be playing for a national title.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, if you still had 4 teams like you had last year, all right, winner of the Big Ten goes on. Winner of the SEC goes on. Maybe bring in another SEC team, but probably not. And then maybe you sprinkle Notre Dame in there and somebody else. I love the new playoff format. I'm excited for it because there's gonna be a lot of parity, I think, and no one has a clue of who's gonna win. But also, if you wanted to go for like the top 4 teams to try to make it work logistically with the championship games, you probably can make it work.
Yeah.
Can we make a bet of the final 8? How many will be SEC?
The Elite 8
after the first round.
Well, we got to see. We can do
We don't
that.
know how
Keep
it's gonna
that
be.
in focus. We got to see who's going to be in. Like, we don't even know 4, 3, whatever. I think it would, and where they're at. I mean, because you can't really make that prediction if they're going to end up playing each other in the first round.
Oh yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying. So, but keep that on the.
I can't wait to
table.
watch Hamby cheer when Texas wins the whole thing and saying another SEC W.
I'm not that guy.
I can see you being that guy.
No, but
you have all the symptoms right now. You're showing all the characteristics of that guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
you really
if
just saying.
If an SEC's team like Texas is playing a team
Like,
that I don't,
just
Ohio
got there.
State, I'm rooting for Texas. Yeah, I'm going to root for the conference.
I bet you would.
I'm not going to be like cheering though.
I bet you would.
Hey, I think here's one right now. Like, I would think all of us would pick against this. The top 4 teams, which get buys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those top 4 teams will make it to the Final 4?
Absolutely not, because Miami's probably going to be in the top 4.
So I think-
and so is the winner of the Big 12, either BYU or
Well,
Colorado.
that's true.
I don't think all those teams will, but I think, 1 or 2
All
for
right,
sure.
maybe a better way to say this. The top 4 ranked teams in the country
Right
at the
now?
time of the bracket.
time.
Because keep in mind, like Miami's ranked number 9, but they're going to be in that 4 spot. So the top 4 ranked teams, will they make it to the Final 4?
So that'd be Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State.
I don't think Ohio State's going to be
If it ended today.
Right.
Ohio. I'm not a big fan. I'm not the believer of Ohio State. I think Oregon can do it.
Yeah, I think Oregon can.
Texas can definitely do it.
But Oregon's been slippery, too.
I know, but I think if they can, to me, it comes down to quarterback more than anything.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel's good.
Do I buy in their quarterback or not? Sorry, Hamby. I get Georgia's coming around now a little bit, but like that's why I'm hesitant to say Georgia can do anything in the playoff. Like to me, you have to have the quarterback.
But Austin, if you were true and you ranked Carson Beck according to all the other 12 quarterbacks of these teams, he would be 4th or 5th.
What I've seen so far this year.
I mean, first of all,
Or,
I don't even think
what we're supposed to say. Like,
well, first of all, I don't even think you know who SMU's quarterback is, and that's not a dig on you. I don't think any of us know who that is.
yeah, I mean,
but
they're 13th.
Yeah, but okay, you're not taking Beck over Notre Dame's quarterback, Riley Leonard. I don't think you're taking him over Indiana's quarterback.
I'm taking over Milroe.
Yeah, you're taking Milroe over Beck. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, but what about Penn State's quarterback? Drew Aller.
I mean, he exceeded expectation. Listen,
that's my point. Is as bad as he has been to some, right? In my opinion, some would take Dylan Gabriel, some would take Jackson Dart, some would take Milroe. Other than that,
I would agree with you, and I get what you're saying, but I do think it's debatable. And by the way, great topic for Stadium Pulse at 9 a.m. on Friday is rank the quarterbacks that are in the top 12, because that's a fascinating one.
Yeah,
like where do they fall, and who does have it in a quarterback world? And Beck, you would buy into some stuff if you had him in a big game because he's betting them.
Sure,
but the way he's played this year, not so sure. You're putting him ahead of other guys because of his mistakes. Too many mistakes.
Yeah, I've watched too much Carson Beck to make me think he's a top 4 guy right now.
Well, that is a little bit of the other thing is we've seen so much of Georgia and Beck, and it's become a headline that you don't even know some of these other guys and some of their weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
They might come across better because you're not hearing the negative. Beck's been a big negative storyline here in the last month or so of the college football season. One last thing before we hit a break. The Gators. I said this. None of us are Gator fans. And although I get accused of being a Gator fan quite a bit, but I'm not. I think it's cool they have this momentum. Like I really do. I have a different perch than most people down here in the South when it comes to college football. I don't have an affiliation with anybody. Actually, because of everybody else liking the Gators so much, I sometimes lean against them.
Yeah.
So if I'm being completely honest. But I think this sucks. When the Noles are terrible, and the Gators are terrible, and Miami's been bad, and Georgia's had its run. Like, we can't seem to ever get everybody since the late 90s bet all good at the same time. And I don't know if this climate's going to help that either, the way this is. Like, it doesn't feel like it.
Florida just flipped another FSU commit in the last hour.
Which is wild. It really are flipping it. Right? And in the trenches some.
Yeah.
Obviously, the quarterback depth.
You thought Norvell had that secret sauce, man. You thought
it's crazy how it goes. Crazy how it goes.
See what they're ranked.
And now listen, Florida's done some things. They've got money in order. Finally, it's only taken them a handful of years. Gosh, they work slow. They've got momentum with a win over LSU, which probably shouldn't be as big of a win as everybody made it out to be, because LSU, quite frankly, isn't that good. But it's a big win for Florida. Mm-hmm. So you got the quarterback playing well, and now you got this new momentum. And to Mike Malarkey's point, Scott Strickland came out and said, this is our guy this year and next year. And look what's happened since. And now they did get blown out against Texas. Outclassed, okay? They had a backup quarterback, totally outclassed. But look how they respond. And look how they're responding in the recruiting game right now. That was a huge thing. Listen, Scott Strickland under a bunch of pressure at Florida. He's had a lot of things not go well.
Yeah.
Maybe like on his way out so much.
Yeah.
And he makes this decision, which ain't a popular decision, coming off the Georgia game. And we even said that might have saved his job. We were right. It did. And now look what's happening.
Oh, Brent, are we just going to bypass the Texas game?
No, I did. I brought up the Texas game. I said they did get blasted the Texas game.
But
so
Yale transfer quarterback, their third string. They almost get a pass.
They were outclassed. I'm just saying, they're outclassed.
Okay.
But they also almost beat Tennessee, who Hamby thinks is unbelievable, apparently. They almost beat Georgia, who we know he thinks is unbelievable. And then they beat LSU. These are all teams ranked in the and look what the recruiting is doing on a dime. Look where it's flipped. All my point is here, I don't think Florida's any great shakes right now. I got my kid texting me every day about the Gators. He was there on Saturday, getting all jacked up. Now he's like, everybody's talking about the Gators. I was like, slow it down, all right? Mm-hmm. The gap between Georgia and Florida ain't what it was in the first half. It's deeper than that, okay? Mm-hmm. As a rivalry game, the gap is still wide. Mm-hmm. But the momentum is there. And I think that's cool. Like, that's a good thing. And I hope Florida State finds some of that sometime soon. This is atrocious here in the state of Florida, what we've had to witness when it comes to college football, especially with these two big programs that are more local to us. I mean, it's gross. So hopefully we get to a point where this game, Florida State, next week, we can finally mean something again.
Anybody want to guess what FSU is in the recruiting rankings for next year?
Oh, man, I must. 40.
Austin?
I mean, we're talking about Florida State. 38? 37?
44.
Do you think right now, the one thing
Florida's
about Florida...
28.
They're only 28.
I thought they'd be better.
These flips. It's funny. See, that's the relative nature of this. You beat LSU. Okay, LSU's whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? They really are whatever.
Yeah.
By their standards. And you probably, like, if you're halfway decent, you should probably beat them at home. Like, and they did, and they looked good. And there's reason for excitement there, but it's a relative excitement. It's the same with the recruiting stuff. All right, well, there's still only 20. Are they going to get into a top 5 class?
Yeah.
Are they going to get with the other people at some point? And then maybe not right now, but later on. Where are they going to end up? And where will Florida State end up is pretty interesting.
Hamby, give us the top 10 recruiting.
Yep, Ohio State, Georgia, Bama, Texas, Auburn, which is
That's
unbelievable.
wild.
Wow, that is crazy.
Freeze does it again.
But he can't coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LSU 6, Tennessee 7, Oregon 8,
Auburn.
A&M 9, Miami 10. USC is at 12.
Yeah, Miami's really, obviously, the thing is, can they sustain? But all this is going to be about quarterbacks. Obviously, we saw it with Miami. Florida State needs to get one. Florida thinks they have a couple now, and we'll see where it goes from there. Does Georgia have a big-time quarterback coming in?
Well, we're trying to get Juju Lewis, but
he's committed to USC, right?
He just decommitted like 2 days ago.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Big game, by the way, this week. Valdosta against Carrollton.
Yeah.
You know that dude's making about $1 million a year in NIL?
I beg your pardon? What? $1 million bucks?
That's the story.
Does it say who it's from? Like what the?
Nah,
okay, yeah.
I don't know that much. I probably could look into it. Maybe it is out there. I've just heard like $1 million.
I was born in the wrong era, Brent.
Carrollton, who was coached by Joey King, who coached Trevor Lawrence in Cartersville. So there's an interesting kind of whole tie. But he's the dude.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get him.
Georgia is. Yeah. We have Ryan Montgomery too. He's a 4-star guy.
He's on campus.
Will be in the spring.
Oh, okay. He's coming in.
Yeah.
All right.
But also, one last thing on Florida. Whenever they say you that they're like really close or all this hype, tell them that they're still below Georgia Tech, Nebraska, TCU, South Carolina, Maryland, SMU, and Rutgers in the recruiting.
Yeah, listen, there's still a long way to go. I'm just saying at least they have some momentum. I mean, the way this felt, you got to remind yourself, if you're a Gator fan, what you were saying a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't keep receipts on everybody. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying where you were a month ago compared to now, I think that is a good thing. And I hope Florida State gets there. The problem is they're going to have to wait until next year to feel that.
Yeah.
They can't do anything this year to feel that way. I don't care what they do in the recruiting cycle. Like Norvell, this is a huge year, obviously, coming up for Mike Norvell. All right, we got to take a time out. We'll come back, a little more NFL talk. You brought up an interesting topic. Best free agent signing?
Oh, yeah.
Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley.
Well, I mean,
I guess Barkley wins the day,
that's
right?
how I'd include him.
But is Barkley bigger than Henry or Mixon? What would those teams be without him? Barkley's made that much of a move, huh?
Let's get into it.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's put a bow on the show here on a Tuesday on what appears to be a beautiful day here in Northeast Florida. There's the Kismet. Any meetings? Anybody on that? Zoom in.
Hey, what happens if Coach Mark was actually on the Kismet for an offensive coordinator gig or something? St. Augustine, I don't know.
Did you hear the interview?
That's a good point. Yeah,
I know.
Never mind. Never mind. You're right.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Building off a summer of terrific action at Southern Oaks Stadium, the Jacksonville Armada are looking forward to the future and the return of pro soccer in Northeast Florida. Season ticket reservations for MLS Next Pro are underway, and for just $100, you can lock in some great benefits when it comes to supporting the boys in blue. Those who make a reservation will have first selection options in the new Armada Stadium out east, near Jacksonville's downtown sporting complex, as well as access to supporter VIP events like stadium tours open training sessions, and future meet and greets with players and coaches. You can make your season ticket reservations at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket. And while you're there, read the very latest on the Armada men's and women's teams in action this summer. Show your commitment to the fleet with an MLS Next Pro season ticket reservation at jacksonvillearmada.com/ticket.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580. It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield. Welcome to Everbank Stadium. We call the stadium the bank. Here inside the Jaguars locker room, this is called the Vault. The Vault is a special place on game days. You can feel the energy and excitement as the Jaguars get ready to take the field. And Everbank has made a way for Jaguars fans to be a part of the action. Each home game, Everbank will select a winner and a guest to be a part of the Shadows. Be there up close and personal when the Jaguars leave the Vault to take the field. Not only that, the Vault Lounge provides a VIP pregame tailgate experience. High-end food, beverages, music, and more. Want a chance to be part of a VIP experience at a Jaguars game? Enter today at everbank.com/shadows, and you could find yourself in the shadows with the Jaguars.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Going back to the cloud cam on a pretty day here in Jacksonville, Florida. A little cloudy, nothing major, but starting to get in those hoodie temperatures now, Hamby, which I can't stress enough how much of a fan I am of that. You know, when it starts to be hoodie season for like those 2 or 3 weeks before it gets to be like 90 degrees again.
No doubt.
I take full advantage, you know?
I'm in it right now.
Hamby's in it right now. See, I'm going to need around 60-ish to get in the full hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the morning it's been getting a little chilly, but right now, I mean, what we got? 78, partly sunny. Yeah, not quite hoodie weather for me yet. Being from Wisconsin, gonna need it to drop a little more, but I'm excited for it.
We're giving you, we're gonna get 30s overnight this week.
Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, I think I saw on Thursday night, maybe 39 degrees. So we're getting there.
Okay. That's cold.
It is nice right now. So hopefully it stays that way.
Now, are you sure? Because I'm checking I'm checking an app for weather, and it's not saying that, Brent. But
let me just double check my app, which is the Action News Jacks weather app.
Okay, which is the one to have.
Weather team.
Yep.
Okay, so Tuesday, Wednesday, 49 low. Thursday, 42 low. Friday, 39 low.
Okay. So we're in the 30s. Okay.
So Friday, 64. Saturday, 64. Sunday, 68.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah. So you're getting closer.
We're getting there.
Got out executed last night.
Oh, that's right. We forgot about
I
this.
completely forgot about it. Well, of course we didn't, because if he didn't bring it up to start the show off,
right.
you know we got beat. Let's hear it, Hamby. What happened?
Time to rip up
first
the
of all,
playbook.
final score, and be honest. Oh, it was a blowout, Brent.
I wish.
It was a blowout.
I wish.
I'm back.
I wish.
I'm excited.
I get it.
Oh, no, it was close?
Everything's on the table.
It was that bad, huh?
Listen, so we walk up and we're watching the teams that are playing. There's teams ahead of us, and we're like,
Scouting.
We're not scouting, but we're getting a feel. And obviously, 7-on-7, it comes with its own rules and kind of it's just different. It's weird elements to it. So we're like, all right,
I don't know. It didn't look too weird on Sunday when we watched the Lions and Jags play at 7-on-7.
bada bing. So we're like, all right, hey, our body types and our skills will play at this level. We'll be all right.
Our body
We're
type.
confident guys. I mean, look, is a lot of us have played and we think we're pretty good. Whatever. But anyway, we get out there and you rush pretty much from the line of scrimmage. Like I'm playing quarterback and you get rushed right away.
Sure.
So we start on defense, and these guys are older. There's a few with tattoos on the face, which one-on-one.
So you guys were intimidated.
Yeah, you guys are definitely intimidated.
Our 5'11" white DB is not competing with that.
Soft.
I'm sorry.
Got it. Yep.
Those
Yep.
Providence kids aren't used to that.
Those
Friars.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're snapping the football by 15 yards back. The snap is being long snapped.
Smart.
15 yards.
Smart.
I like that. Yeah.
Guys.
I didn't know you could do that.
What do you mean, guy? That's your fault, coach.
No, I didn't know.
You need more team speed.
You can pass the ball forwards, a forwards pass, as long as it's behind the line of scrimmage still, that guy can pass it also.
Wait, so
As long as the receiver,
is behind the line of scrimmage.
even if it's a
Then he can
forward pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got worked on that.
What's the way-
On defense, we felt like the Lions. The guy barely threw an incomplete pass, just marched it right up and down the field on us.
Were they athletic?
Yeah,
Final score?
26-0.
So you didn't do anything either then, huh?
We moved.
You didn't do jack, did you?
We had the ball in the red area 3 times, and then
What was the EPA, though?
I mean, it was okay.
Or were you that bad?
First play on offense, I stepped back, I threw the ball as far as I could. We caught it for a 45-yard completion, and then got stuffed in the red zone.
You gonna start telling him, because we have Marcel Robinson play football and he takes it seriously. He wins football games. You gonna start telling Hamby here that he's got to start winning, because we're not gonna be embarrassed. I just won my last fight. We ain't gonna have you here representing.
I feel
the
like
stream.
I feel like I've won the media this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Brent's
Trust
won.
me, we'll be fine.
You sure?
Yeah,
Because
we'll be
26-0 doesn't really give a lot of vote of confidence.
Look, there's a science. These guys had it down to a science. I asked him after the game. I was like, dude, how often you guys play? That guy goes, there's 2 seasons a year. This is my 16th season.
Holy cow.
Jeez.
I've been playing this league since I'm 19. I'm
Can
28.
I just ask you a question? Did you have anything Action Sports Shacks related on?
Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Idiot.
Please don't wear anything out there.
There's like, yeah, we play in this one and in the pro league in the spring. I'm like, oh yeah, and like, yeah, this is all we do.
Can you tell us when you play a bunch of fat old guys so we'll come out to that one?
With a bunch of knee braces from Walgreens. Not the Don Joys. We need the bad knee braces.
You mentioned Marcel Robinson. I think I've nominated you, if you get a win, though, for his most improved player of the award. That shouldn't be too hard here.
Guys, listen, they always say most growth in between week 1 and week 2. It's a brand new league for us.
I guess. When's the next game?
It's not till December 2nd.
What are we doing?
You got a bye week. You guys tired already?
No, we don't. Hey, we're not fatigued. My hip's a little sore. I'll say it. But look, yeah,
It'd be so awesome. Like if things are going well, we'd have Press Taylor come out and judge you guys' play calling.
That'd be great, man.
everything's on the table.
That'd be great. Everything's on the table. I mean, did you have a speech? There's no speech or anything, huh? Like you guys just yeah, we didn't play that good. We'll see you next week or whatever.
I mean, I talked to the team after the game.
Okay.
Did you have your long leggings on?
No, I'm not an accessories guy.
Yeah, but it's leggings, man. It's cold. I wear leggings to the gym.
Well, no, I'm not.
Wow.
I wear Nike socks and short shorts because you have to, because with the pockets and everything. And
Okay.
Guys looked like you played with Hey Dudes on.
the other team, the other team had customized jerseys.
Did they really?
Yeah.
They're like,
Hey,
yeah,
we
these
can
are years
Call
old.
winners, man.
Baker Sports. I mean, I can ask them about it. I'm going.
Oh
over
no!
there in just a little bit.
Don't associate Baker with that team, Brent.
Yeah, that's a
don't.
good point.
Yeah,
You guys,
don't bring them down.
game.
We'll see. It's not trending in a good way.
Yeah.
Points.
Man.
Points. We're going to celebrate points.
We're gonna celebrate touchdowns.
We'll be fine.
Oh.
Hey, did you see Joe Douglas fired by the Jets?
Yeah.
They have moved, which shows you again that the GM probably doesn't do much this time of year.
Huh? Yeah.
They did say they want to get ahead of it. And again, I think you can actually get ahead of the GM process more than you can the coach process, right?
Yeah.
You got to do your due diligence and everything else. So that makes some sense. But I guess it does. I mean, not surprising, right? They're ripping it up in
big head. Holy cow!
Yep.
It's a dome.
Yep.
Does this mean Aaron Rodgers is done in New York?
Don't you think like
New GM don't want to put up with that.
you're really gonna bring him back next year again? Come on.
He's got a lot of money tied.
Well,
They've got a lot of
eat the
money
dead
tied up
money
in it, right?
because I think you got to start it all over, man. Like the experiment obviously failed.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
So what does
You
the
brought
owner,
Devontae Adams there.
yeah? What does the owner think of that move? That's what I'm curious about. You
Oh,
hired,
having to pay?
you fire your head coach, right? And then you obviously in that moment have to make a decision about the GM as well. You allow him to stay. He goes out and get Devontae Adams, and then you fire him a month later.
Yeah.
Like, what did you make of that move as the owner, or whoever's making this decision?
Yeah, they've had a lot of questionable moves. So, what's the latest on the sweepstakes with Juan Soto? Everybody's busy. Red Sox are in.
Well,
Dodgers have been in.
Red
Yankees
Sox
are in. Mets are in. Right? Is that it?
Keep him in the AL.
San Fran. I think San Fran's in.
San Fran's got to be in. Then we're on Judge. Austin?
well, I put this in the group text. If he goes to the Dodgers, someone's got. Come on.
Yeah.
What are we
that's not
doing,
fair.
guys?
That's not fair.
What are we doing?
Like they
Shut
really,
it down.
I know they can't step in. They probably can't because
No, you
listen,
can't.
the way Ohtani created this with the way he deferred his money.
Yeah.
So he allowed them to have the flexibility to do this. But Major League Baseball doesn't want him going to the Dodgers.
No.
And
It's overkill.
I mean, Major League Baseball on the quiet might be like, okay, here's a little extra money for Soto on the side, Red Sox or somebody else. Like, I wonder though, and I get the Yankees didn't win the World Series, but they did go to the World Series. And Soto was a big reason why. Is he the difference maker to get to a World Series? Winning's a little tricky to say. But the Red Sox have been like, eh. The Mets they had a nice run, but is he the guy they're missing to go with like a Lindor and other people that they have? The Yankees obviously are an example of it. San Francisco. Everybody thought San Francisco would be better than they are the last couple of years. They haven't really been that good. Mm-hmm. And the Dodgers, whatever. I mean, the Dodgers are going to go no matter what it feels like. Or have the ability to. They just proved that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Is he that kind of player, though, because of what he represents in today's world of on-base percentage? Obviously, he can hit bombs. I wonder with him at Fenway Park, like, that's not a short porch. The pesky pole is, but it's not short to right. Mm-hmm. Like, Yankees is short. Now, Soto can hit to all fields, so he can maybe play off that wall all day, too. But does he make the Red Sox, who look like a pretty whatever team right now on paper, does he make them a contender?
I don't think so. I don't think you're one bat away if you're the Red Sox. I don't think you're one bat away from the Giants, especially with a guy like it's weird to have this conversation, but at the end of the day, it's a guy who walks a lot, right? And on base percentage is very key, but you need that 1 through 9, right? You need that to be a team philosophy more than one guy. You saw at times with the Yankees lineup where he's getting on base and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And that in that sense, he's not making a difference in the game because he's straining himself on first base and he's not driving in runs, right? Obviously, he does drive in runs, which is why he's the biggest difference maker on the market. I think that's easy to say. But as far as he doesn't change the lineup 1 through 9, and it doesn't revolve around him even as a hitter because you can always just walk him and then you go after the next guy. You got to have guys around him.
Like, if he played for the Brewers, would they be a World Series team?
I don't know if I would call them a World Series team, but they would definitely be a contender. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely elevate the Brewers because that's what they really need right now. I feel like they have the pitching in line. Betting is coming around a little bit, but you're about to lose, I think, Adames. Adames might go to the Dodgers, too. The Dodgers might just get everybody.
Adames might come to the Braves.
Lex.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
interesting. I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to boost, but to echo Hamby, is it one bat away?
It's hard to be one bat away. I understand what you guys are saying. It's not one player in baseball. Fully get it. But if you're actually like I think your team's a good example. Like if you take Milwaukee, who's good enough, they were good at they dominated the Central.
Yeah.
They were good enough to make a run. They didn't, but that's just the way postseason baseball works. But if you have him in the lineup,
could be the difference.
I think he's a difference maker. Because here's the thing with Soto. To me, he's the most difficult out in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I think he's the hardest out in the game. And I think, in a weird way, people are more afraid of him than even the Otanis and Judges and everyone of the world. Because you can strike those guys out. It's hard to strike Juan Soto out.
Yeah.
At least I feel like it is. I don't know. I'm not even looking at numbers.
No, it is.
But, yeah, I feel like he's that guy. When you have that guy, that kind of does, you become that. You become that 1 through 9. And if you're getting that guy to help out, like the Yankees were more of that with him. They used to be either swing and miss or home run, and they were more than that. They had good at-bats. They were good two-strike at-bats, better two-strike hitters when they were going well. So
all right. I'm convinced that everybody in Milwaukee, sell one of your kidneys. Everyone in town, sell your kidney, and let's raise some money to get Juan Soto on the Brewers.
Like if the Padres could get him, why can't you guys get him?
They ain't enough money, man. They ain't no
Padres
way.
spend more than the Braves.
I know. They did.
Milwaukee didn't spend like that, bro.
Forever. They just started spending like a handful of years
Milwaukee
ago.
didn't spend like that.
So they just
Never
won't
will.
spend
No,
like that.
They won't.
Because who's your most expensive guy? I mean, Yelich was under.
Probably
is he still
Yelich, which is crazy to say. It's probably Yelich, yeah.
Boy, I feel like if they got somebody like him, man, you put you over the top.
Yeah, Brent, it would be great. And if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon. But Milwaukee doesn't spend money. So you just you keep saying it I'm intrigued, but they're not going to spend money. So it's making me upset.
All right. Well, don't deep dive into kiddie pool later today. I'm going to Baker's here in a minute. Maybe I'll put that on a shirt.
Please do.
If you're looking for a new vehicle, head to Nimnick Buick GMC, NimnickBuickGMC.com, or right off Phillips Highway, everybody. That's where we shop for our vehicles. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the Brent Austen Show.